Attention, due to the nature of the films discussed, the Civil Gore Podcast may contain adult language and themes.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Civil Gore Podcast. I am your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. And I don't know about you, Tim, but I am still recovering from probably one of the best, fun weekends I've had. Because this, as you know, we're going to be doing it. This is another off-format episode where we want to do a recap of our New Jersey HorrorCon, which I'm sure by now you guys have seen some of our pictures and seen some of our tweets from it. But we're going to go really in depth. So for a kind of a mini-sode, it may not be so mini, but it's definitely off format. But I think we have so many stories to tell you that'll be worth your time for sure.
Yeah, and I do want to give a warning up front. This is not going to be edited, probably. Because I just don't have time. We're recording it late in the week, and so it's going to be a little bit of a raw episode for us. So bear with us. You'll hear all of our and stuff like that I usually edit out, but it should be a fun time because I think actually it fits the format of this show better because we model our show after two friends talking about horror movies in a conversational tone, and kind of you, the listeners, are kind of the third person in the room with us. I think it lends itself really well to this HorrorCon wrap up because Brian and I would be talking about this anyway, even if we didn't have a podcast going on. This is exactly what we would be saying. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and you know how I know some of our Cody especially said, she goes, I wish I saw some of your texts. Yeah. Well, this is probably going to be an audio version of some of our texts because we were just from the moment I picked him up, for the moment I dropped him off, we were pretty much just smiles on our faces with hysterical laughter. Even though kind of the last half hour of our trip, where Tim, before I got to the airport, was literally us just quoting Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Pretty much, yeah.
So your guys gonna get a really unedited view of Tim and I, just with so much fun. But there literally is. We kind of want that because if it was up to us, we would have literally just recorded every second of this con. Yeah, if we could have, because it was epic.
So I flew in Friday morning. I got there by Friday afternoon. And so Brian picked me up, and we headed down to Atlantic City. The traffic was a freaking nightmare. I think. Oh, that's right, Brian, because you had to pick me up way late. We got way later to the con than we expected, but it turns out that wasn't a problem.
No, it worked out. It worked out good. It was just, any of those in the tri-state area, especially the New Jersey area, knows what it's like to get from New York to New Jersey. There's a couple of ways you can go, and I chose poorly because, and it was so funny because I literally had Julie on the phone at one point. I had a GPS going, my phone GPS, and Julie on the phone, all trying to guide me different ways. And I decided to go straight through Manhattan, which turned out to be horrendous because the Lincoln Tunnel was backed up, and literally the time I just saw ticking up and up and up. And I was supposed to pick Tim up just after 2, and it was closer to 4, I think, by the time I got you.
But we had
Tim got Newark Airport time that he didn't expect, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I only got accosted by one homeless person, so that was good.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good ratio.
That was a good
ratio.
Yeah.
So, very good.
But so we got to the show. But I think the trip to Atlantic City was fairly smooth all in all, even though we were kind of stressed for time. But turns out we really didn't need to be because we got there. Parking was fine. Got to the hotel. Hotel was very nice, very spacious, and it was kind of funny walking in. We saw Ari Lehman walking in. That was our first celebrity encounter. Didn't get to speak to him. We just kind of saw him in passing. But it was kind of interesting when you walk into the showboat. And another word of warning for this show, Brian and I are newbies to this con. This was our first time.
Yes.
So if we talk about it a little excitedly to you veterans out there, you just experience through the eyes of first-timers. Because we're probably going to be gushing a little bit about how much fun we had. But it was so neat to walk into the hotel lobby, and there's the con right there. It's not behind a closed door. It's not off a hallway. It's right there. And so the minute we stepped into the lobby, I was excited because I could just see everything that was going on. The vendors, the celebrities, everything was right there at you.
Yeah, well, because that's actually a a plus that came out of some dismay. So the Showboat used to be one of the most amazing casinos on the Atlantic City boardwalk. And after the whole thing, after they shuttered a bunch of the casinos down, some of them reopened, like the Taj Mahal reopened as now the amazing Hard Rock, which if we have some time, we'll get into that a little bit. But the Showboat just reopened again as a hotel. So basically, the entire casino floor became the con floor, which was kind of this cool, surreal experience because you literally see the lights above and like neon signs that were referencing to gambling things were now just still there, but below it is all this like epic horror con.
Yeah, but it's just a perfect space though, because you got one big long room, which is exactly what you want for a convention. I mean, you just want a big long room with plenty of aisle space. And plenty of room for vendors and celebrities and stuff. So I thought the layout was awesome. I mean, I'm coming from Mad Monster Party, which was in a very tiny convention center. And it was scattered all over the place. You had some celebrities in this room and some in this other room. And it was wall to wall. And when you were trying to get through the vendor floor, you were like, literally rubbing shoulders with everybody.
Yeah. And I can't think of a time where we struggled to get anywhere.
No, even on Saturday, which was by far the most crowded day, it never felt crowded.
No, it was so we'll just give you a quick just a little description of what this is like. So basically when you check in, and like Tim said, you just see the con. So there's a long hallway that if you continue all the way through, it'll take you right out to the boardwalk. To the left of this is the big casino floor, which became the con floor. And so one end of it pretty much had where the majority of all the celebrities were. Like, like Leah Thompson and Tom Wilson kind of had the prime spot, which, because, they had this Back to the Future unit. So they kind of had this big section with the little queue lines, which actually turned out to be good because they were pretty much mobbed all weekend.
Right.
And then if you walk down, then all the vendors started. And then on the other side, the opposite side, was where they had the professional photo ops set up. And then towards the back left corner of it, it was where they set up the film festival. So there was continuous films going on. And then on the right, so you didn't really have to you did have to leave the con floor technically to get to this, but there's when they had the panel room set up with this wide spacious room. They didn't have a lot of seats set up, but it seemed like it was fine because if they needed to bring more seats, they had a ton of room for it. Mm-hmm. And the only I'd say the only misstep possibly was that it was literally shared the room with the arcade. So sometimes you would, while you're trying to listen to a panel, you hear like air hockey in the background and people screaming at video games in the background, which actually I think Felissa Rose incorporated. She screamed back at him or something. But it was kind of I think it was during Mick Garris's, it was a little hard at one point. Because he's a very soft-spoken guy. Right, it's very mellow. And you could hear the knock hockey, or I'm sorry, the air hockey tournament going on behind us. But other than that, that's like literally the biggest thing I could complain about, and it's not even a complaint because it added kind of some comedy to it.
Yeah. So we got there in the first event that we had scheduled, and we barely made it, really.
We had about 20 minutes to spare.
Right. Was our professional photo op with Art the Clown. Now, this is kind of funny because I didn't get the chance to meet David Howard Thornton out of costume before we had to go right into this photo op. So my first time meeting him was going to be Art the Clown. And we waited in line for a little while because they were letting people in batches, but it was still very well organized, I thought.
Oh my God, really well organized compared to what I hear some nightmares about other conventions with photo ops or just celebrity meetings. This was like a breeze.
Yeah, so we waited in line for maybe, what do you say, 10, 15 minutes maybe tops?
Yeah, it went by really fast, and it was it was entertaining because you could kind of see, like, there was some other like people online that were like, there was this one, oh my God, it was so adorable, the little girl that was dressed up as Art the Clown with her dad. I was just like, oh my God, and we watched her get all excited as she was approaching it. Like, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's like that this girl must have been, what was she, 12 maybe?
It was,
and she was full Art the Clown costume.
It was really cool. So Brian and I, of course, wore our Civil Gore shirts all weekend. That was our plan from the start, to advertise the show and strike up conversations and stuff. And so the minute we walked in to see Art, he noticed our shirts. He recognized Brian. And he kind of pointed, he was staying in character the whole time. We were kind of wondering if he'd stay in character. He did stay in character. And he's pointing to my shirt and like exclaiming surprise and stuff. So that was really exciting. And to see him in full makeup, I can't describe how creepy that is. I mean, you see people in Halloween costumes and you know it's a costume. But when you see the real movie version thing standing in front of you, it is a little unnerving. It really is.
Yeah. Well, there's that video going around. You could probably catch it on it. I think David tweeted it. Damien Leone retweeted it about like a girl that went in there and she was legit scared of it because he was in full costume and he was acting like he was in the movie with the sinister grin. He had a little looked like knife, like a little X-Acto blade kind of thing that he pretended to hold up to my neck. He had his horn. Yeah. He had, I think he had some other kind of like weapon in there, but it was great because he's literally stayed in character. And there's something, like Tim was saying too, there's something amazing when you see the movie version and know it's the real guy. Like if you saw Robert Englund cosplaying as Freddy, we're not cosplaying, but as Freddy, there's just this epic feeling you get. And that was the same thing. We're like, wow, this is David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown standing right there.
Yeah, it was amazing. And a great picture. It came out so good. I was so happy with it.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys have already seen it already. We posted that, and it'd definitely be good to. It's like a great thing. We sprung for the extra digital print of it, of course, so we could both have it and we can use it for promos and stuff. And it was like it couldn't have been a better start. Like after the harrowing journey to get there, like that was forgotten in about 20 minutes as we got into the con and got that picture.
But you got to tell everybody Steve Cohn's best quote of the trip. He was texting us during the weekend about the art photo when you told him about it.
Yeah, so of course the first thing I do is when I got the photo, I wanted to get, we were waiting. It was actually kind of excruciating a little. We were waiting for this digital copy because because we got the print the next day, but the digital copy I think took a little longer. But when I got it, I immediately sent it to Steve Cohn, and he writes back, he goes, "One of you should be naked and upside down, otherwise, what's the point?" So while we would love that kind of realism, I don't think that was happening.
We're going to spare you guys from that.
We'd spare you guys.
We do have bodies for radio, so.
And even then that's a stretch, but so Cohn was funny all weekend. He had a couple of zingers in there with when we were updating him on there, which I partly expected him to surprise us. Oh, and actually he did say something funny. I didn't get to tell you this, Tim, but he said that he was actually he said that when he realized you were at Newark Airport, he should have just went there and pretend to kidnap you horror movie style from the airport.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I could see him totally doing that. And he was trying to come. He would have tried to meet us down there at least on the Saturday. He just couldn't. He had some obligations. So once again, poor Tim, like even though he feels like he knows Cohn forever, has not actually met him yet.
Yeah, we're like two star-crossed lovers who can just never meet. I don't know if I'll ever meet Cohn.
No, you will. We'll make it happen somehow. Don't worry.
So,
and he's been in your neck of the woods like 50 times.
Oh, I know.
It's
funny, it's like we're just crisscrossing.
Yeah.
So we were going to go through this. I mean, we're going to go through it day by day, but we were kind of trying to save all the guest interactions for the end, the celebrity interactions. So
yeah, I think that's the best.
So I'll kind of, obviously we did some celebrity meet and greets on Friday, but we'll kind of save those for the end when we talk about all the celebrities at one time. I did want to talk about some of the other stuff we saw. First, tons of cool cosplayers there. I think the most memorable for us, at least, was when we came around the corner to go downstairs after checking into our room the first time.
Oh, yeah.
There's Ripley and the alien sitting right in front of us waiting on the elevator, which was pretty hilarious. I think I actually went, whoa, and like backed up when I saw him, because that's a fantastic costume. Oh my gosh, these guys are amazing.
And we were looking for that. I was looking for them too, because I said, Tim, these guys are going to be there. They're a husband and wife team. And I said, we got to look for them. They do this full-on great cosplay. And literally on our way down to the con for the first time, we were in there, and I was like, oh my God, I was looking for you guys. I saw you. We follow you on Instagram. And she was like, oh, cool. And then we realized, why didn't we take a picture with them at that moment before it got crazy and crowded? Because I don't think we ended up getting that picture until late Saturday, right? Or Sunday, was it even?
And it was really weird trying to step around a xenomorph's tail in the elevator. That was kind of
yeah, and let me tell you guys. So this costume was so in depth, the alien costume, that she had to lead him around. He could not really see in that.
Right, yeah.
Because anytime they walked a long distance, she was literally like holding him and guiding him. So it's kind of funny to see. And let me tell you, this is also the first of our many, what I'd like to call elevator encounters.
Yes.
Because it seemed like
we had many.
So between the elevator encounters and what we've finally referred to as the spot, which we'll tell you about later, we seem to just be like magnets to the celebrities there. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, random celebrity encounters everywhere. So we mentioned the arcade. I guess we'll kind of quickly duck into the arcade thing. So they have an awesome old retro arcade, well, with retro games, I should say. Retro pinball, tons of pinball machines, tons of great classic arcade games. I think it had pool and air hockey next door. We didn't really go into that, but just for like your childhood dream, one price, which was very reasonable, I thought.
It was like $10, right?
$10 for like an hour. And I think you could upgrade to $12 for the rest of the night or whatever if you really want to stay.
Yeah, it was like, you could pretty much like for the rest. Yeah, at a certain point, you can just pay for 12. Yeah, it was like $12.
Maybe 12, 15, maybe.
Something like that. It was negligible.
Yeah, negligible. And then you get a wristband, and then you just go in there and play to your heart's content. All the games are on free play. All the pinball's on free play. I had a ball in there. I think I played just about every pinball machine I wanted to play because they had Creature from the Black Lagoon, Addams Family, AC/DC, Metallica pinball machines, like all those classic ones. That Magic one was my favorite. I can't remember the name of it. The Funhouse one. They had tons of great ones. I think Brian, you played Dragon's Lair, Space Ace. I was playing that. Yeah, because they had that one. They had that one like multi-game thing where it was like 1,000 games on there. Oh, it was so much fun. And I got the high score on Galaga. I just want to point out. So,
yes, he did.
At least for that night, I did.
It. Yeah. They may have unplugged the games. We don't know. And then Tim's legacy is lost.
But then I couldn't figure out how to put my initials in, so it was lost anyway. I think I'm __A in there. So.
Well, that's the thing. So, guys, if you go to the Showboat and you play and you see that, you know it's Tim.
So, but that was a ton of fun. That was kind of an unexpected little treat we got to do.
Yeah, we kind of used it as a diversion because we had a little time to kill before our next event, and we had kind of circled the con floor enough, and it was Saturday, so that was where it was a little crowded. So we're like, you know what, we've kind of done this for a while now. Let's just change it up for a little bit. We had an hour to kill, so we
should say, just as a broad overview, Friday was pretty dead. I mean, if you really wanted to get some celebrity meet and greets in, Friday was the way to go because people were just getting in, and it's a half day for the convention, and man, it was a blast walking the convention floor and getting to see everybody. We got a lot of celebrity meets done on Friday.
Yeah,
in just that short time.
And like we said, how we said Leah Thompson and Tom Wilson had the queue. It was like empty that night.
Yeah, that's when we really should have
just you could walk right up to them. I know we did it. We did well. We didn't know.
Yeah.
It was part excitement, part being a newbie for this con. We didn't know what it was like. So, we were just, and it's like, literally, it's putting, like, it's that phrase, kid in a candy store. I mean, we just saw tons of merchandise, tons of posters, everything was around. We didn't know what to do first, literally. I think there was one point where we realized we missed this one little section. I think by Saturday afternoon, we realized every time for some reason we would make this loop and like veer in and miss this one whole section every time.
Yeah, now Saturday was significantly more crowded, but not uncomfortably crowded. So if you decide to go on a Saturday day pass, you'll still probably get, I would say actually you will get to see everything in terms of the show floor that you'll want to see. Now, you may miss out on some panels and stuff and that kind of thing, but you will definitely get to see everything that you want to see on the show floor on Saturday. It never felt overly crowded to me at all.
No, and I mean, I've been to Chiller, and I know Monster Mania can become a disaster in terms of crowds, but you got to remember, it's not always so fair to because those cons are at like normal hotels,
right,
and they just use like all the convention space, all the rooms they can in there. This literally was a casino, so the massive amount of casino floor space they had lends itself perfect to a convention, and they used it wisely. I mean, because even the booths, like usually that's where you get crammed. Like the celebrities are one thing, there's lines, but they usually have it organized. But the booths themselves, you could literally like wide aisleways, so you could have two lines of people each on looking at either side of the booth, and you still would not be bumping into them.
Yeah. Now, Friday, we had a panel scheduled with Mick Garris, who obviously you know from, well, we've gone over Mick Garris enough times on this podcast.
God,
You know who he is. But so we were really looking forward to that panel, and it was a fantastic panel. Now, this one covered the first half of his career. The one we missed on Saturday, which I wish we could have gotten to, was the second half of his career. But he's just such a soft-spoken guy, but he's so intelligent. He's got so many years of working in this industry. Like, the amount of stories he has of the people he's worked with is just mind-blowing. And
he could have gone on for probably, like, he could have had about a 6-hour seminar and probably not still have more stories after that, and he'd be just as engaging, because you know, it's like he was actually, if you think about it, the longest out of the panels, because they usually allotted an hour, but they usually ran about maybe 30 minutes of talking and then some Q&A, but his went almost like 45 minutes and then some Q&A.
Yeah, and he was one of the unique celebrities in that he did free signing and photos after the panel. So after you listen to the panel, you could just stand in line and go up there and get a free photo and a free signature, whatever you want. He was signing multiple things if you wanted them, which I thought was just super cool. Now, we did not bring anything to sign like idiots. Free signing?
With all the stuff we have.
Yeah.
I know. Well, you know what? That's my bad. In my head, I'm picturing he's going to have a stack of photos or something, you know, but he's not that kind of guy. He's not, you know, he's not going to have a photo of himself to sign. He just would sign anything you want, kind of a thing. He kept it very casual.
But it was great.
Yeah,
so we walked up with our shirts and he goes, "Uh-oh, my competition." Because he has, of course, the Postmortem podcast with Mick Garris, which is a fantastic podcast. And so we were kind of laughing at his comment. And Brian, I think you had one of the best celebrity lines of the night when you slipped him our card and said, just so you can, I can't remember what you said, but you said, just so in case you want to hear that we're not your competition.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say, wow. Yeah, I said, here, check us out. If you get a chance, you can see how not competition we are.
And he's so humble. He was just kind of, he was laughing and kind of waved it off like, come on, guys. So, yeah, he was just a super, super cool guy. I can't say enough good things about Mick Garris. Like, he was everything I hoped he would be from the featurettes and stuff I've watched him on over the years and the interviews I've seen. Like, I had hoped he was as down to earth in person, and he was actually probably more so than
even more than I expected. Yeah, I mean, because there was no. Like, you know, it's like he's a mellow guy, but you could still see there was enthusiasm and gratitude for the fans that came out, and every question that got asked, he was eager to answer. I mean, it's just in general, like, it was like Tim said, I wish we could have got that second panel, but like with this show, you know, we knew we were going to miss some stuff. We knew we weren't going to get everything we wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think most of the thing that got cut out more than anything was probably like the film festival. We only got to see a snippet of that. Yeah. But we did see the most epic portion of that, which we'll get into a little bit
later. So I guess that takes us into Saturday, because I think the con started to kind of wrap up after we did the Mick Garris thing. I think we walked around a little bit more. And,
yeah. Oh, you know what? We didn't finish the cosplayers. Actually, we kind of veered off on that Alien Ripley thing.
Oh yeah. So
should we go back a little bit to that?
Go ahead and mention some of the cosplayers. There was a. I don't know if this really counts as cosplay because they were actually selling photos. But the Freddy chef was amazing. This was you get your picture taken with Freddy Krueger dressed up in a chef outfit.
Yeah, he's from Nightmare Worcester. I'll mention him later. We'll mention him more his details later when we go into the connections we met. Yeah, so he's like a professional kind of like a cosplayer type of thing where they set up a booth and they do it. It's not like you're just walk around guest cosplayer.
He was incredible. I mean, he looked like Robert Englund. He really did.
He did.
He looked great. There was a fantastic Frankenstein, which you probably saw in our picture. That guy was big and hulking, and he was really funny. And he stayed in character too. Like he'd point at people and go, "Ugh."
Yeah, he was like
he was great.
Legit. Like, and then he eventually later on I don't know if there was always a pair up and we just missed it in the beginning, but then he somehow paired up with a Bride of Frankenstein later on.
Yeah, I think they were together. Yeah.
No, I guess, she wasn't there when we were there, when we ran into him.
Though there was a fantastic Leatherface, and this guy would kind of stomp around like Leatherface does, like kind of that stagger thing.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. And he had, I don't know if it was his daughter, or I couldn't tell, because she had like a face mask on, like a skin mask on. You'll see it in the pictures, but I don't know if it might have been his daughter or his wife or something. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, no, you couldn't tell because the mask never came off.
These guys, I never saw them out of costume. I don't think
we saw the other ones. Like we saw the Michael Myers at one point without a costume.
I don't think I ever saw.
Wait, he was good though.
Oh yeah, Michael Myers.
Myers was great.
Yeah, he was good
because he had the mannerism. Remember, he was going after someone and he was following them for about 10 minutes. Yeah. We were watching. We got mesmerized because he was just stalking behind them the entire time, and we're just watching this. We're like, oh my god! And the person didn't notice for 10 minutes.
There was a Pennywise which we didn't get to meet. There was quite a few Jasons. I think there was at least 2. I saw one.
Well, there was that, and there was that kind of professional one from the Vengeance film that came there.
And then we saw some Shining twins, which were fantastic. I like them a lot.
Yeah. There was the Peter Griffin guy. I didn't write that down. I forgot he was there.
Oh yeah, there's just a dude. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a dude that cosplays as Peter Griffin, and he looks exactly like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. He looks like a real life version of that cartoon, and he was there, and I recognized him from internet pictures I'd seen of him, and he was there in his Peter Griffin outfit. I saw him later.
Yeah, I want to say he was doing it, right?
Yeah.
He was doing the voice.
Yeah, he does the voice and everything. He's fantastic. I saw him later out of that costume, and it was kind of jarring because I did not expect.
I hope he had other clothes on. He wasn't just out of the costume.
That would be really jarring. No, that guy is fantastic. I wish I got to talk to him and told him I recognized him, but then you never want to go up to somebody and go, "Hey, nice Peter Griffin outfit," and then they say, "I'm not cosplaying." That would be a little embarrassing.
This is what I wear. Yeah, there was some other random ones I didn't know. There was that one guy with the poop diaper that kind of was just walking around. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know. It was disturbing.
There was some. Yeah, I don't know, but that's the second time someone came up to Tim and I with a fake poop diaper. We had that Carowinds experience. So I don't know what it is about Tim and I that seemed to pull those people towards us, But yeah, and there were some other ones too. We're just going over the big ones because at some point there was just a ton of cosplays because there was a contest on Saturday night, which we kind of walked through the middle of a little bit. So there was definitely a lot of that going on and some really, really, really good ones.
Yeah. Now Friday night, so after things started winding down, this is where Brian and I found the spot.
Yes, this is the
spot
because
this is your secret.
Yeah. Yeah, so to go into it a little bit, so I don't know if anyone's familiar with that area. When the Showboat and the now Hard Rock are connected structurally, and they have a walkway. So, since Showboat's no longer a gambling facility, if you need to gamble, your best option is to just literally walk through, so you don't have to leave the building, and you end up going right into the Hard Rock. Down some steps, you go past the club there, and then you're right into the casino. But there's a bar in between all that as you go in. So when you come out, there's a great bar, and it was one of the bars that had Tim and I were searching for some good beers throughout this con. Our bar that we saw nearby didn't have it. But then we found out later there was the hidden bar in the back kind of did. But anyway, so we went down there and we just decided to have a beer. And who didn't we see? My God, we're sitting there in the walkway. So we thought all the guests were staying at the Hard Rock next door. It turned out they were just going over there to eat or gamble or whatnot. Because who did we see? We saw Mick Garris one of the days.
We saw Mick Garris. We saw Francis Lee McCain.
Yes, we saw Lyndon Portco, right?
Lyndon Portco. We saw, and a lot of the some of the guys the Vinny and the CJ Ramon, those guys. You could, if you wanted to just celebrity watch, sit at the bottom of that little escalator there that goes into the bar that goes into the Hard Rock. You'll see everybody walk through there. It was fantastic.
Right, Damien Leone was there at one point. We saw him.
Yeah, so
he came by. Who else? There was one other person I know we missed in that spot. There was it was another pretty biggie. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. So yeah, if you wanted to do that, you could definitely spot some celebrities just sitting there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we named it the spot, because we're like, oh my God, we're just literally sitting here and everyone from the con is walking by us.
Of course, now at that time, Friday night, we had not met all these people. By Sunday, it probably wouldn't be as impressive because we'd probably seen them all 50 times.
Yeah. At that point, we would have, it would have been like, hey,
here you are again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Saturday was going to be our major day for just everything. And we got a little concerned because the line looked incredible. The line looked really backed up, and we even hesitated to even stand in line. But let me tell you, man, this place has it organized. Not only were they getting in people quick, but there's a bag check, right? before you go into the con floor. Well, when they saw the line was getting long, they'd have people out there checking bags before you got up to the table to save time.
So you could kind of go right through. Yeah.
So you could save time. Sorry. Yeah. So you could save time. I mean, that's the kind of like efficiency they had. Like these people had it going on. We didn't wait in that line for anything near what I thought we would.
No, it was like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were incredible. The security guys were quick. They were polite. I mean, I can't say good enough things about
Yeah,
the
it was
staff.
that one dude that was there the whole weekend. I should have got his name just to give him a shout out. He was literally standing there with the wand every minute. And I kept joking with him. I said, boy, they really don't give you a break, do you? And then he's like, nope. He goes, don't worry, I like it, though. I like it. And then actually that day, too, is when we had our other kind of... I mean, I don't know. We had another epic elevator encounter.
Oh, yeah,
are we going through the elevator encounters
we
now?
We go to the elevator encounter. So, you want to go take the first one, Brian?
Yeah, so that one we had was we were coming down, and now we had already met them the night before. But like I said, we'll go over the true celebrity wrap-ups when we get to that section. But we get into the elevator, and we look in, and Darcy, the mail girl from, of course, the Joe Bob Briggs.
And I think this is another one where I stepped in and I went, whoa.
Yeah, because she was in full, like, the outfit she always wears, like, on the kind of thing. So she was right there, like, and we had met her once already. So we kind of like, I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? So she's like, oh, hey, how you? I guess, I don't know if she remembered us or just, we looked familiar. But at that point, she may have well remembered us since it wasn't that crowded Friday night. So
plus
by
our
that
shirts,
point,
I think we're making us memorable.
our shirts.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we did have it. Even like Ming Chen had a funny comment about it. He goes, "What do you guys got one for every day?" and Tim's like, "Yes, we do actually." But yeah. So we saw her. So we got out of the elevator. It's funny. So we decided to start heading over towards the main entrance. So now there were a lot of exits along the way that they wanted you out of, but they were really good about saying no. There was one main entrance you had to go through, and the second you got out, regardless, you had to go back in the main entrance so they could check your bag again.
Right.
Good tip to be safe for the the guests and celebrities. So she was she goes, which way are we supposed to go again? And we're like, well, so we were kind of like, well, you can go right in there. You don't have to go with us.
Yeah.
I think you have a special entrance. You're all right. You can go in that way.
Although I'm sure the security guy would love to wand her down.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. And it's funny, she referenced it later too, where she's like, "Oh, my elevator buddies," and I'm like, Tim, like, she remembered us, So
yeah, that was
like, but
when you walk into an elevator and you're trying to not look at the beautiful woman standing in the elevator, you're trying to just look nonchalant, but it's kind of crazy with her because of the outfit she wears. It's very hard to not
and she's like just so super friendly, and it's just like, but it was like I think it was us and one other person in there with her, so it was kind of like if we didn't, I think it'd been more awkward if we didn't say anything.
Probably, yeah.
Kind of, like, because we'd just be sitting there like, da, 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 da. And we might as well say, because this sets up another one of our epic elevator encounters. These elevators obviously have been inspected for safety, but that's it. Because
not for user friendliness.
Yeah, because to get anywhere other than the 5th floor, which is like the last, I guess, main guest floor of like where there was the outdoor pool or whatever on there and some other stuff and conference rooms, you need to put your key card in. But if you don't put it in right, you can't put the button on. And it was a never-ending battle for everyone that got in, because there were some elevators where like Tim started recognizing each elevator's personality. He's like, oh no, this is the one where it doesn't work on the right side, or this is the one, so we've been up and down of it so much, so we kind of knew that, and that sets up probably our best elevator encounter, though, I think.
So finally we get in, and so we get into one elevator, and poor little Frances Lee McCain's in there struggling with the elevator thing. And there was this other girl trying to help her. And the whole time, well, I'll let you do it, Brian, because you do the quote better than I do. But me and Brian are both thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, and it was like, Tim was like sitting there saying, Brian, please don't say it. I know in his head. And me, I'm like just wondering if I should say it. But yeah, both of our minds have been, I guess just by for being friends now for a while and doing this podcast all the time, we just have this psychic link, because all I wanted to say was, but not say Sam, but would say, Francis, will you fiddle into that thing and come and eat your dinner? But neither of us said it.
I was sitting
there,
but
as soon as she got out, we were hysterical.
I was sitting there mortified that Brian was going to actually say it, and
I came close. I really came close. Especially when the other girl tried to come in and help her, and she was like, no. And she was keep going back and forth in and out with her card, and I'm just like, it was great.
We did have some, I think we had some, we should mention, we did have some almost celebrity encounters in which we either almost ran over a celebrity or they almost ran over us. Because I think,
most of it was me because I'm like I talk with my hands and I'm not paying attention a lot.
I think I think you almost ran over Lloyd Kaufman at one point, or he almost ran into you.
Yes, which I didn't even realize. Yeah, no, someone almost ran. Yeah, no, I think I almost hit him, and I almost
crashed. I almost crashed into Mick Garris.
Right? Yeah, you almost hit me. Yeah, you figure we did. There was someone else that we literally almost. I think I almost like walked smack into. The guy. The guy that played Pugsley.
Oh yeah.
I ran smack into him in the bathroom. We did like one of those dances, like left, right, left. But yeah,
Brian walked. I swear, Lyndon Porco almost walked between his legs.
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Brian didn't even notice
because I was looking. I think I was turned looking at you talking. Is what happened.
But we'll get to that in a minute because he's a fantastic guy. But anyway, so yeah, that was Saturday. Now Saturday night. Oh man, Saturday night. Where do we even begin?
Should we? Well, see, that's the thing. Should we go into some? Well, like when should we go into that? Because that Saturday night has just had such epic things to it. Oh, well, we could talk quick. Well, see, that's the thing. There's some stories that involve the celebrities. I don't know if we should maybe get that Saturday night when we get down, because I kind of bunched the celebrities on the spreadsheet who were all part of that Saturday night.
We'll talk about the celebrities first. Yeah, well, and then we'll get into Saturday night.
Yeah, so maybe we should right now, I guess, probably go into some of the contacts we met, I guess. Yeah. Some of the cool things we spotted.
Yeah, so let's go into the vendors. And when I say vendors, some of these guys were selling stuff, but some guys were just there to promote their content and stuff. Let me tell you this. Everybody we met was super cool. Everybody was just super friendly. They were happy to be there. They engaged in conversation. They were happy to talk about. I mean, we got so many compliments on our podcast name and logo. I was so happy. Because this thing has never been field tested, really, if you think about it.
It hasn't.
And like everybody who heard about our podcast, Civil Gore, that's a cool name. Or I really like the logo. I love the shirts. We got a lot of that, I believe.
Yeah, and that made Tim beam because he's designer of the logo.
Yes, I'll take full credit for the logo. But Kevin gets credit for the name, so he gets a shout out.
Yeah, he got the name.
But yeah, I just can't say enough good things about all the vendors and stuff that were there and the contacts we made. So we'll just kind of run through them. These are in no particular order. These are ones we just saw, and we'll have links to their web pages or their Etsy sites or whatever they have.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get that out to everybody. But just if you give the name, most of these you can search already, and you'll be able to find some of these people.
So first up was Deadly Grounds Coffee. So they sell they're a horror themed coffee company, and owned by I'm going to butcher his name. Sorry, I'm not even going to say his name. It's Deadly Grounds Coffee.
We'll just say Tom. Yeah. See, and I apologize because some of these names I've cultivated from like looking up their information from the cards.
Yeah.
Too. Because some of them didn't I don't know if we even caught their names because you go by a lot of times you'll go by the product or the name of the company. So, we were just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, I don't even think half the time we said who Tim Bryan, we just kind of said, oh, we're from the Civil Gore Podcast, because sometimes, you're trying to meet so many people. It's difficult to remember those kind of names anyway, the actual names.
But they were giving out free samples, which is awesome. Their coffee was excellent. I loved it. In fact, I bought a bag of their strongest, boldest brew, which is called Hell's Fury. So I'm excited to try that. I haven't tried it yet. I'm saving it for the weekend. But that was some fantastic coffee, and I was happy to bring that home. Although it did get scanned at the airport. I guess they thought I was smoggling anthrax or something because they took this wand thing to it. They were like rubbing this thing on the seal.
Well, the whole thing with coffee, and you see in the movies the cocaine's hidden in there.
So they were testing it for coke and everything.
And you looked a bit wired after
probably
24 hours of over 48 hours of conning. So they probably just looked at you a little funny and like, I don't know. But and oh yeah, and they have a great slogan too. It says, "Once you go deadly, you don't go back."
Yeah.
And that's what the guy said too to us. And we because he was giving out free samples, and it's really good coffee. I bought the same one that Tim did. We both bought the Hell's Fury because, of course, we're both big fans of dark roast coffee. And he's like, "Well, this is the darkest I have."
Yeah, and we said we will take it. Next up was Alexis Marie Artistry. Cassie Fultz, who does she's a special effects makeup artist, and she had a table there. Oh, I loved her. I loved her. She was
she was so nice. Yeah, we followed her Instagram, and it was funny because she told a funny story. She couldn't sell stuff because I guess she doesn't have I guess she only had at that point a New York license to sell, and this was of course in New Jersey. So she was basically had all this stuff that she was giving away, but I was interacting with her on Instagram the other day. She said it was almost all gone because she got so many things. I guess people came by and she'd had a really good day, I guess, at the especially with the cosplay contest being at night. I guess a lot of people like hit her booth up. Yeah, she was really fun to talk to. We talked to her for a good 10 minutes, I think, just about some of the stuff she was doing. I think she's self-taught makeup artist, had some really cool latex stuff that she had on display. And so she was definitely cool. So we'll definitely link to her site and her Instagram, because her Instagram is it's a little tricky. I'll tell you this one now. It's XCASSERS 1989X. So it's X Cassers 1989X, and you could see it, some of her stuff. She's got some really cool things up there.
Next up was one of the artists there, Scott Spillman art, and I love this art. It's just pop culture art, but he has a lot of horror type stuff, and just uses these really vibrant colors, which is cool. In the horror world, you're not used to seeing vibrant color, but these I loved every one of these things. I wish I could have taken all of them home, and I would love to see a creature from the Black Lagoon from these guys, because that would be phenomenal.
I want to say and I think that was the one. Remember, I asked. He wasn't there at the table at the moment we passed by, but I guess I don't know. Someone was there. I don't know if it was his wife or someone there. But she said that. Remember, she said he does do commissions, I believe. Yeah. So you could probably get him to commission you a piece.
Yeah. So that was some really cool stuff. Friday the 13th, Vengeance, a fan film. Brian and I already knew about this one, so we're really excited to see these guys at the convention. And it looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good. These guys were
Darcy the Mail Girl has a role in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember we saw her a little snippet of it,
that's
when
right.
they were doing the reel. Yeah, and there was also Steve Dash and C.J. Graham, of course, former Jasons, of course, the late Steve Dash, but C.J. Graham. So apparently, I did some more reading on it, and it's supposedly it's a sequel to Jason Lives. So I think I saw it someone was cast as Elias Voorhees, so it's kind of like that storyline of Friday the 13th. And so we were talking to I guess she was one of the actresses and producers. We were talking to her, she was telling us all about it, how they were really excited for this. This is going to be a really cool project. So definitely check them out. You could just search it. There's a lot of stuff on them, so you'll be able to find it. They had a Kickstarter, I believe. Yeah. So you could just look up, and they have a lot of good videos and promos of the production. And we actually skipped, I think, actually went out of order a little bit, but there's also the Ghost Girls greetings.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Which were those really great horror themed greeting cards.
Yeah, these guys are fantastic. They're at ghostgirlgreetings.com, and they make really, I would say, almost minimalist greeting cards of horror characters with cool sayings inside, and they're really cool. I loved these things. They're awesome.
Yeah, they had a lot of options. They had their really cool trick or treat stationery set. Remember that, where they were saying that it's their favorite film, so they literally, each card represented one of the stories in the anthology, and it was in a box set of the cards and stuff, which was just amazing. It's just, see, that to me, that's why I think, and I knew, which is why, and this is always my con tip, it's that's one of the best things to do, is just sometimes just walk that con floor repeatedly, because sometimes you miss something, sometimes you'll you'll double back and catch something you didn't see. And just every time we went, I think we found something else cool. And I think we didn't see them until the second day. Actually, we had walked right past them, and so we saw on the second day. I was just mesmerized by some of the cool options they have, and it's just so fun to see what people are doing. It's such creativity out there.
It's great. Speaking of creativity, we love this guy. His company is called Frank's Kid, and he does these awesome cartoon horror mashups. So he had some Charlie Brown horror stuff, which was just incredible to see. I don't even know how to describe it. It's
Yeah. And he's an animator too, so if you go on his site, he's got like little like short things like there was one of where the Michael Myers one was amazing. So he showed it was a little cartoon and he was spoofing He-Man. So it was like the little clown Michael like raises his knife up to the thing and becomes the full Michael in He-Man style. And he's got all these cool little videos on his site, and he had a little like reel playing, and I told him, I said, you got to sell a DVD of this. I would buy that in a heartbeat. But he has it right now on his site, so I guess it's the better thing for all of us. But yeah, his name is Mike Chichi. I hope I did not butcher your name. Chichi maybe, but it's www. Yeah, it's www.frankskid.com, and you will not be disappointed. You have got to see some of the cool things he's got on there.
Next up was the Freddy Krueger cosplayer we talked about earlier.
Nightmare Worcester.
Yeah, Nightmare Worcester. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Yeah, it's Worcester. I've always thought it was Worcester or Worcester, but yeah, all the people in Boston will kill us if we say it wrong. So
next up, this guy, man, this guy's a treat. So
yeah, and we didn't. The funniest thing is, so we saw him first at the film awards because he was standing in the background, and we're sitting there, and I keep saying, like, this clown is kind of creeping me out. He's standing behind us. Little did I know the interaction we would have with him. And apparently I guess he won Best Actor for the movie, which we didn't get to see, unfortunately, but I think there's clips of it on YouTube, which was the Candy Corn Scare. No, I keep saying Candy Corn Scarecrow all week. The Candyman meets
Killer Clown meets the Candyman.
Killer Clown meets the Candyman. Yes, sorry.
So,
but yeah, and so he was Pogo the Clown.
Yeah, Pogo the Clown, of course, was the clown that Tom. Jeez, that's why we edit the show, folks.
See, you never know we make these many mistakes.
John Wayne Gacy, obviously infamous serial killer, dressed as Pogo the Clown, and this guy does a really good Pogo the Clown. Let me tell you.
Oh my god,
fantastic.
Yeah, creepy, and like especially if you look at all his stuff, and he's actually like when he's not Pogo, being John Wayne Gacy as Pogo the Clown, he's also he has a podcast with his brothers, I guess, and it's called Quality Time Podcast, so you could look that up.
Yeah.
Also, but he's. I feel weird literally telling you his YouTube site because
we'll just
YouTube.
I'll let you go.
Should I say it? I don't know.
Clown.
Oh, you're right. Therapist Clown. That's got to be it. But so if you write that down, you'll see why we were hesitant to word.
He's a character.
It's funny.
Man.
His email. Yeah, his email is the Boba Dork. So he's just got like things all over the place. Yeah. And I guess I gotta say this. His business cards basically say parties, magic tricks, and rape. So yeah, and he won when he won Best Actor, he ran up there totally in character, screaming and acting silly, and it was the best. And then we actually did encounter him later on, which we'll get to when we talk at the party sequence, at the bar where we encountered him in the bar, still in full costume, mind you.
I never saw him break costume at all.
Yeah, I don't think he ever broke costume, but yeah. So, but he was a hilarious guy. This guy is funny.
Horror Art Studios, which does classic monster art, they had some really cool prints there, as I recall.
Yeah, that was the creature standee that you loved, that you wanted to go home with.
Yeah, they had some awesome stuff there. And I couldn't afford it. I couldn't even get it. I couldn't get it on the plane if I wanted to, but it had some awesome stuff. There was, I think I've created a monster. Unique sculptures and original artwork from Rhode Island. This guy had some really cool stuff as well. This next one, probably if I was going to buy anything at the show and I had unlimited money, I probably would have just cleaned this guy out. So this is Eric's Custom Movie Monsters. And what he does is he takes, and I don't know exactly, I guess some of them were NECA figures, some of them were...
Yeah, I think the Jason and Michael were NECA by far, because I recognize
creature,
those.
I'm not sure where he got that. It might have been one of the models. I don't know. But he basically takes these action figures or collectibles or whatever and puts them into shadow boxes with lighting and decoration and everything. These were ultra cool. I mean, so cool.
Yeah. Oh, like Tim said, I literally would have bought like about 30 of these things if I had a disposable
income. Now they're pricey
to just support that.
I'm sure a lot of work's put into them, so they are pricey.
Oh yeah, but they're worth it. I mean, I didn't look at the price and go, "Oh my god, he's charging that." No, it was just that.
No, it was because of the because of the work. I'm sure each of these put into it. They're well worth it. They were completely awesome, and I probably would have. yeah, like I said, if I had unlimited money, I'd have bought all of them.
Yeah.
Theater of Terror, Tom Ryan, filmmaker. We went by their table, I believe, and kind of got the spiel on their new film. So definitely check those guys out. They're really cool to talk to.
Yeah, it's an anthology.
Yeah, it's an anthology. These guys were really awesome to talk to. Eerie Dolls Boutique. I've got a story about this one. These are the guys I bought. I bought a doll for my daughter. She wanted a creepy doll from the HorrorCon.
And boy did she get one.
Boy did she get one. So these guys were fantastic to talk to. They were
awesome
a lot of
to
fun.
talk to,
and they're explaining to you some of the crazy characters they've had come up to their booth. That kind of thing.
We were talking Dead Files with them. We got into a whole thing.
They were super blast to talk to, and they basically take dolls and kind of restore them, and then do some like their own hand painted custom creepy faces on them. And they had all kinds of like styles. So the one I got my daughter is more like kind of a creepy clown face with black eyes. And they had some other kinds that were just, like vampires with blood and stuff. So these guys were just awesome. I really, really loved it. And let me tell you, my daughter absolutely loved that doll. I was a little concerned. I wasn't sure exactly what she was looking for. When she took that doll out, her face got the biggest grin. She thought it was the funniest thing. And then I was telling Brian what I do is I would take the doll and I go, la, 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 la. Like scream at her. I just probably made all of you jump. And so she it was hilarious. We were playing with that thing.
You got to put that on Instagram somehow.
And link those guys because they were fantastic. Left Hand Path Art. Angel Nickens does prayer candles, prints, stationery, pop culture, and horror art. These prayer candles were awesome. They were so awesome.
Yeah.
They were prayer candles with different horror icons. They even had a Momo candle, which I thought was awesome.
Oh, right. That was, the fact that they had that so soon. They had they also had some other pop culture stuff. Like they had the Golden Girls.
Yeah,
they didn't just go through horror. Yeah. They knew their audience at that con that was going to get like horror and pop culture, and they nailed it with all of them. So.
Muller and Company. I think this is the guy I bought my Creature from the Black Lagoon reaction figure.
It was. Yeah. Oh, this guy was fun to talk to. We were talking to him and his wife for a good 20 minutes.
We talked cave crickets.
We got into the cave crickets because I guess he told us about this horrendous story about these spiders in his house or something, and then we got on the with cave crickets, and we're sitting there bonding over cave crickets, and then he's like, "Oh wait, you're from North Carolina. Have you ever seen these?" And Tim's like, "Yes." He showed me.
He sold different kind of animal bones and bugs and butterflies and insects in resin and stuff, all kinds of cool, creepy stuff like that. So.
But then he had some cool, the reaction figures, the Super 7 figures.
Super nice guy to talk to.
You finally got your creature.
I'm so excited. He's in my creature shrine right now.
Nice.
TM Art Specialties. This is the guy that did the cool metal art. My dad would love to talk to this guy because my dad does metal art as well. And just some awesome metal art pieces. That Jaws one that got sold, it was incredible.
Oh, yeah. We saw that Friday night, and I think it was gone by Saturday morning, I think, because I didn't see it again after that first Friday night. So someone must have jumped on that one right away.
So, you think metal, things you could hang on the wall. So they're like logos or silhouettes. Just some really, really cool stuff. Geek Emporium, this guy sold custom beer glasses. And these things I almost walked away with one of these. And I just was a little afraid of it getting broke on the plane or something. That's the only reason I didn't buy one. I still am probably going to order one. But he sells these custom beer glasses of different horror. Not just horror. He had some other stuff there too. But
and they were all one of a kind. But he commissions too. He said.
So I'm going to try to get a creature. I'm going to try to get a creature one for sure. And then Deadly Dollies magazine. This was I don't know exactly what this magazine.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out. It was more it was like a pinup, but for gory,
pinup with dead girls or something. I don't know.
And they have a show too.
Yeah.
I looked on their YouTube channel. They have a little thing. It's definitely cool. It's just I couldn't tell what it was at first. I had to do a little research because I thought it was just a magazine, but it's so much more. It's like a whole production company. They do stuff. But so definitely check those out. You can just Google them at Deadly Dollies and Dead Dollies magazine, and you'll find them because they got a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool videos. I think they have a video show each week along with the magazine.
And then finally we had Exit Zero Zombie, Neil Cohen. This guy we actually ran into outside of the hotel. We actually never went to his table, and he saw our shirts and approached us and asked us about and told us about a book he's writing. This
I am excited for this book.
I'm excited too. This one's called Business is Dead, Resurrecting Entrepreneurship Through the Fan-Focused Venture. And he used the term fan-entrepreneurship to talk about people like us who do podcasts, which we're not making money off of it. We just do it for the love of the hobby. And that's kind of what this book's about. So he asked us if maybe we would promote the book or do an interview or something closer to the time when it's going to come out. So we obviously we said absolutely we would.
Yeah. So I think his book comes out October 1st. So we'll definitely, and it's going to be available like on Amazon and all the book outlets and stuff. So we'll make sure we contact him and have him on. He's already like reached out to us, and we talked to him a little bit on Instagram. So he's got, it's cool because, you think about it, he's basically, the whole point of that book is to say like, people are like kind of bypassing like these little startup businesses into just doing fan stuff, like he said, fan-entrepreneurship, which is true. Like, yeah, sure. Tim and I could have got together and said, hey, let's make like a horror like store, but no, we wanted to do what we loved, which is talk about the movies. And you know what, if we don't make a cent off of this, which signs pointing to we're not going
right
to.
Now we're hemorrhaging money.
Yes, hemorrhaging money. But who cares? We have a ball. And like this con was the perfect example of what this podcast led us to. And like, even if it just leads us to more cons and meeting more great people, I mean, I feel like no money competes with that.
Yeah, and I will say we got a noticeable bump in downloads after the con, like significant.
Oh wow!
So that was really cool to like see that networking in action, like actually helping the show. So that was awesome.
Oh, nice.
So let's go through the celebrities. That's what everybody wants to hear about, right? So we had some really good, we're going to go, these are in no particular order because these were not the order in which we met them at all.
No, I just did it in order of kind of like which will be bigger stories would be towards the bottom.
Yeah.
I kind of did just so we can kind of finish with a bang.
So first up was Leah Thompson. I think we saw her on Sunday when things were kind of, or was it Saturday night maybe?
No, she left because, so it was right before, I think, towards the end of the evening because she was leaving Saturday night.
So we were kind of hesitant to go up there because we're like, we're not going to buy anything. And, there's a line the whole time. You don't want to stand in this big line and not buy anything. You're sitting there with all these people that got armfuls of Back to the Future stuff to sign. You're just going up there going, I just want to say hi. And so...
Hi, you're Leah Thompson.
Yeah. So we got up there kind of... trepidatiously, if that's a word. And I was like, you know what? What's the worst guy? She's not going to say no. Like, she's not going to say hi to us. So, we went up there, and her assistant was so cool. She was like, oh, I said, can we just say hi? She's like, sure. You put you on a meet and greet. She said, what's your names, Tim and Brian? And so before we even got up there, Leah knew our names. She said, this is Tim and Brian.
Yeah.
And so, sweet lady. She was
God.
Everything I hope Leah Thompson would be.
Yeah, she's like, you when you see her in her movies, especially like as Lorraine in Back to the Future, you have this image of like, wow, I wonder if she's like that in real life. And she was so sweet, so like just like full of class and great. I mean, I know you're going to hear us probably repeat the descriptions of some of these people, but it's like some of them just, I'm sorry, but they fit the bill. And and she was it was great. I mean, we didn't buy a single thing. She was just happy to engage us and meet us. And we talked, we just talked a few minutes. She asked us how we were enjoying the con. We asked the same, just a nice little quick conversation. And it was awesome.
It was a dream come true. Cause I mean, Howard the Duck, Back to the Future. You've grown up watching her, and she still looks fantastic, by the way.
Space Camp. I mean, Space Camp, so many movies I grew up with. So.
Next up was Tom Wilson, who, of course, played Biff, Back to the Future.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing ahead of time. I apologize.
So I do have a story behind this.
With the story.
I kind of got Biff blocked. So we got in line to meet him again for the meet and greet. And so I get up.
And by the way, hashtag, that's going to be a hashtag from now on. Hashtag
So I get
block.
up there, and I'm like just about to walk up to meet him, and here comes Zach Galligan cutting in front of me to
Billy Peltzer himself
to rush up and talk to Tom about something. I think they were talking.
I think it was food. I think he was talking about how there's food left over from some kind of thing.
So they're chit chatting and basically holding up my Biff meeting. And after this whole incident, I told Brian I couldn't believe I got Biff blocked by Billy Peltzer. But anyway,
and the worst part is when we were staring at him this whole time, and then when Zach Galligan walked away, he looked at us and he says, "What are you looking at, butthead?"
No,
he didn't. He didn't do that. But no, he didn't. Of course, no. He was as cordial as could be. His friend, super friendly.
Tom Wilson was he's a lot more. He's more reservedly.
Yes, yeah, that's so. Yeah, he's just very like not friendly in any way, just more like reserved, I guess. Yeah, that's
more
the best
reserved,
word.
But he was a cool guy, and I got to. I was like, I'm gonna tell Tom Wilson he's the best movie bully ever. Like that's what I'm gonna say, and I'm sure he hears it 1,000 times. I'm gonna say it to him, so I can say that I told him from my mouth to his ears. Yes. That's what I think, and that's what I got to do. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, he was a cool guy. He was a cool guy. He was very nice.
Yeah, and it was it was kind of, and we told him too. We said Back to the Future, if that had if someone who played Biff not with all the gusto that Tom Wilson did, that's a different.
It's a different movie. Yeah.
I mean, yes, you have the great Michael J. Fox, you have the amazing Christopher Walken and Leah Thompson, but Biff Biff was such a key piece, as that if you had that just not as good of an actor, it's not the same movie.
Yeah. James Token was another one, the third from the Back to the Future franchise that was there, and this was another great interaction. So we went up to him, and Brian, you told the story about slackers. We used the I'll let you go into that
because we have a. Yeah, well, we have a big group of coaster friends. We use this app called Slack, which I'm sure you've heard of it. It's mostly a business app. We've abused it into basically being channels of roller coasters, beer, booze, movies. There's even a Civil Gore channel in there. All various podcasts. So we have a whole massive group of people in there that that basically we coordinate our meetups and trips. But anyway. Hence the thing, we basically named it as if no one else could use this app but us.
Yeah.
So we call ourselves either Slack Pack or Slackers. And so I said he gets mentioned pretty much, like, if not indirectly, of course, but not directly, of course, but in kind of in spirit, what we say, like we think of him when we go, hey, Slackers, and of course his famous line of Slackers. So we told him that. He goes, oh, it's nice to be thought of, so he kind of got a kick out of that. So, hey, what a sweet
very
guy,
nice guy. Oh my God, he was awesome.
Oh my God, yeah.
Speaking of nice people, we're going to say these people were nice because there was not a single celebrity that we met that wasn't nice.
Right.
No,
there wasn't.
There really wasn't. We're kind of making a funny joke there. And we'll get to that in a minute. Frances McCain was so awesome. She's a very sweet, lovely woman. We mentioned she's the crossover mom, the 80s mom. We were talking to her about that. She was awesome.
And she liked that. You could tell she liked that, yeah.
She liked being recognized for both of those movies.
Yeah, the one thing I regret is I know it would have been probably like they would have called it. You kind of wanted to give her a hug.
You really did.
There's there was no opportunity. We got plenty of hugs, but we didn't get one from Frances Lee McCain, which would have been a nice, good, more motherly.
And I tell you
hug.
what, she still looks like she could be your mom. Like you just want to.
Yeah.
If I walked in the house and saw her cooking dinner or something, I wouldn't bat an eye. I would say, oh yeah, that's mom.
Yeah,
she's cooking dinner. So
hopefully she'd have access to the microwave, unlike
this one was a cool interaction. Ken Sagoes from Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and Brian, I'll let you talk about that because you bought a book from him.
Yeah. So he was, of course, everyone knows him as Kincaid from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. And he was really cool, and he was selling a book that I noticed. It's apparently he's an award-winning writer now too, which was really cool. And it's called the McHenry Trial. Don't judge a kid by their hoodie. And so it's like a really, really cool book. But I bought it for Julie because I know she would find interest in this. But one of the coolest things is I just found out. In the back there, when it talks about him, I wanted to read this little quick paragraph on him to show how cool he is, right? So it says Sagos is the founder of the Los Angeles-based nonprofit organization Giving Back Corporation, GBC, and it's been in operation since '97. It says each year the GBC pays homage to living entertainment pioneers and raises funds to provide scholarships for books and school supplies for college-bound students. He's been acknowledged by governors in 8 states. Former President Bill Clinton and Dr. Maya Angelou for his humanitarian works and compassion for the welfare of others. Since he's resided in Los Angeles, he said he's made quite an impression on his peers as well as the community, so much so that he received the Community Leadership Award from the L.A. County Probation Union and the former Governor Gray Davis of California, proclaiming that the 25th day of April, which is coming up, is Ken Sago's
Oh, it's
day.
awesome. Yeah.
So I'm gonna read this book too once Julie's done with it. And it's just So I mean, what a great guy he is, and he was so funny. And I joked with him. I said, "When are we getting Kincaid back to a movie?" And he kind of joked. He goes, "Well, you know."
Yeah, he was super nice.
But it was really cool. So he's definitely someone, if you see him at a con, go up to him, especially grab his book, help him out with the sales of books.
Ken Page, who did the voice of Oogity Boogity in Nightmare Before Christmas. I almost said Nightmare on Elm Street. That'd have been a good crossover.
Yeah, I know. Well, look at the thing. It was two Kens, Nightmare.
But
it's easy to mistake.
He's a very super nice guy. Obviously, I told him that was one of my favorite movies, and we talked a little bit about the Haunted Mansion overlay because he did the voice for that.
Yeah, which I didn't. I didn't realize. I mean, I assumed they might have just like took the film dialogue, but no, he actually re-recorded segments specifically for the ride. Which, being horror and theme park and Disney nerds, Tim and I were in heaven with that comment.
Very, very pleasant guy. Next up, Shannon Elizabeth. Oh my gosh! So she is stunning in real life. Stunning.
Yeah.
I was so far out of my league that I didn't need to be in the same building with that. So Brian is the one that had the nerve to go up to talk to her. I think I just stood there and looked like an idiot the whole time while Brian was actually buying something and talking to her and interacting while I was just standing over there like some kind of creeper or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, it was good actually because it was a bonus because I especially because we should say a big thank you to our lovely wives who allowed us to basically be a weekend, the two of us, a weekend away in Atlantic City, surrounded by debauchery of Atlantic City and horror cons, which at any moment we could have lost hundreds of dollars in gambling, which we've lost to a combined less than $2. Right. So we didn't really gamble. We were very well behaved.
We even ate right.
We even ate healthy. We ate healthy, for God's sake. I mean, you couldn't have been more proud of Tim and I swear. But so I always like to buy if I go to a con that Julie can't go to with me, I always like to buy her a gift. I hadn't bought the book yet. This actually came first. But I know Shanna Elizabeth, through her Animal Avengers charity organization, has a bracelet that goes, I guess, it goes right to the charity, and it really actually turned out to be a really nice bracelet. Julie liked it. And basically, her Animal Avengers, it says, inspiring unity and action in championing wildlife and wild places. So, but I used the bracelet actually to open the conversation. I was like, Tim and I were trying to kind of milling around. Like, I don't know what we were hoping for her to see us and say, hey guys, come on over. Yeah, that wasn't happening. So I'm like, all right, we got to get over there. We're going to be kicking ourselves if we don't go over and at least talk to her. So I was like literally pulling every strength of courage I had. And we had no beers at this point. Raw. So this was like pure courage I had to summon from somewhere. And so I went up probably like a total dork. But anyway, I walked up, I said, so I hear this is the place to get bracelets. And she the best bracelets. I said, the best bracelets. She looked up and giant smile. And she's like, yes, well, yes, it is. And I said, oh, good. I want to get my wife a bracelet. So, and I was like, oh, I heard this goes to the animal charity. She's like, yeah. And she said a couple of things about it. And, we did the purchase and, just said, oh, it's nice to meet you. Enjoying the, you excited for the con. And I forgot what she said. It's just like a little nice interaction back.
Brian said all this while I stood over there like an idiot.
Yeah. I think we told her. I think somehow I blurted out something about the podcast, and I did leave the card there somehow. So God knows where that ended up. But I did leave a card. There's probably so many cards of ours scattered somewhere. But so I left her a card, and she took it, and so we went away. And then I kind of looked at Tim. I'm like, all right, well, that was it. That's all I got. I mean, I might have used up all my. I spent
the rest of the con avoiding Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah, I kept saying, come on, Tim, where she's right there. And sometimes she was literally, her booth would buy, because she was even though she's a big horror movie person, and she was in a lot of horror movies, I think she was in an awkward spot where they put her.
She was in an awkward spot.
Like she was in the Yeah, and so I don't think, and I think, in all honesty, I mean, there's the whole thing. I mean, she's, like Tim said, she looks stunning sitting there and very hard to approach, probably just that old, like, high school thing, like, humana, kind of thing. But, and she couldn't have been sweeter. I mean, she really was.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No.
Yeah, and I swear to God, I don't think she aged.
She hasn't aged. She looks better now. I think she almost like better now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I was hoping we could have got a picture with the thing, but it didn't come with the most of them were pretty affordable. And I might as well say this in general actually about the guests there. Most of the pictures and stuff were really affordable, and they did something that, I mean, at least I didn't see this at the maybe Monstermania has this. I don't know about, and I don't think Chiller has it, but they had a selfie price where you could just take your own camera and get a picture, and it ranged from like $10 to $20 or something, which was pretty good. So if you just wanted a nice picture with them, you didn't, because some people don't have the space for a lot of photos and stuff. And what's the point of getting it just to put it in a folder somewhere?
Exactly.
So that I like that option. So that's what I was hoping I could have got. I mean, in hindsight, I probably could have said, "Hey, can we get a picture?" And she might have added it in at a modest fee. But at that point, I was trying to get the air back into Tim's lungs with a paper bag. So he was.
I did wave to her literally on the way out of the hotel. She was standing in the lobby talking to some bellhop or something, and I did this awkward wave. So now. Yeah. For all time, Shannon Elizabeth's fond memories of me in her dreams at night is creepy guy standing beside the talkative guy at the table, and then weird guy that gave awkward wave on way out of hotel. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, ironically, Tim could be the most memorable person she's met all weekend.
Because he was the only one that acted like a weirdo. Oh, my God. So, Kim Meyer, speaking of... us being weirdos, we food blocked her. Now, this makes the second celebrity I've food blocked, because I also food blocked Ernie Hudson when I met him at our...
Tim's reputation precedes himself here at these conventions, I tell you.
We went up to her, and she was, like, literally leaving to get dinner. I was like, oh, God. Yeah. Great timing.
Yeah, but she was so nice. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to?" I said, "Oh, no." I said, "We're like, oh, no. We just were going to say hi." And she's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" It was really quick. We didn't want to... So it was great. I mean, other than probably uttering some stupid like, "We loved you on Seinfeld." Probably that's all we else would have gotten out of it all. But she was really nice, really, and she looked stunning too. She didn't age either. I swear.
That's how our voices sound in our minds when we're talking to these celebrities. It's like,
I know. Apparently,
hey Joe Bob, I liked you on Monster Vision.
I know. Yeah, we're goofy all of a sudden, literally goofy
times.
and. Yeah, so any of the celebrities that actually are listening to this, if by chance, if we sounded like that, please let us know, because we'll try so much better next time not to sound like that. I mean,
they are saints for putting up with people like us. Oh my God.
Yeah, they are. They're the greatest. I'm sure we'll get to that in a full wrap up of the celebrities. And the funny thing, so ironically, Tim might block 2 food, but he also helped one of the celebrities. We'll jump ahead a couple of lines just because
I think that's next. Here. I think that's next, actually. I think you grouped the food stuff
together. You're right. It is. Look at that. Boy, I did this really well.
Yeah, so we were Jason Marsden, who's done he's been in some shows, and he's done some voiceover work for different.
Yeah, what was it, Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, he was in
Hocus
Pocus.
That was his big movie.
I don't really know his work, honestly. Sorry.
Yeah, I felt bad going up.
I felt bad because I didn't really know his stuff. Yeah. So
but we encountered him.
We
anyway.
didn't get to talk to him. So we went to this noodle bar to get some ramen and stuff, and we're sitting there, and he sits down beside us with his family, and I kind of recognized him, I was like, I think that's Jason Marsden, but I'm not gonna like go out on a limb, but I'm pretty sure that's him. And he ended up asking me what I had ordered. I guess because he was trying to find stuff for his kids, and I told him I got the shrimp lo mein, and his kid was like, "Is it good?" I was like, "Yeah, it's good." Yeah. So we had a little conversation there. So I did advise Jason Marsden on what to order at the noodle bar.
Yeah. So whilst Tim starveth some, he feedeth others.
He seems like a super nice guy, and a good family man. Yeah.
Oh, he was totally great family man. Just really nice guy. Now I kind of feel bad. I didn't know as much about him as I would have liked, because he seemed like he would have been, and I saw him engaging with the fans a lot.
We probably should have gone
to his
table just to talk to him.
in hindsight, it's it's like it's difficult because you as much time as we had there, it like seemed like it wasn't enough at some point.
Yeah.
So
next up, Amelia Kincaid. We didn't actually go to her table, but we ran into her in the elevator again.
yes, surprise, another elevator ring. And it was funny because she came in. I guess I assume that was her boyfriend. They came in together, and he's like, and we're like, oh hey, how you doing? And she's like, oh, do you know who she is? She's gonna be at the con tomorrow. I said, oh, we know who she is. Don't worry, we're big horror fans. Yeah, we know who she is. So she was like, oh, okay. We never actually, and the funny thing is we never got there.
Yeah.
Again, we forgot to go back there, but we did get to say hi to her in the elevator, and we so we shared yet another elevator ride with someone.
Weird.
Like, I swear to God, it was like Tim and I were elevator celebrity
And for
magnets.
ones that we didn't get to meet at tables, we would meet them outside of the table somehow. Like, it was weird.
Yeah, every one of them. If you think about it, all the ones we tried to go to the table, we met them elsewhere instead.
Lyndon Porco, this was his first con, so I know this guy was having a blast. He is small. He is very, very small.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously, I'm not saying that to be mean because he plays.
Oh no, of
I mean,
course not, yeah.
I was impressed with how short he is, and again, not in a mean way. He's really it's cool. Yeah. It's actually cool looking. He is so short that you kind of go right over him. But this guy was super nice, super friendly.
Oh my God, it was so cool to talk to him.
And he apparently does not like horror movies. He's scared of horror movies.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. We asked him, we were like, so how's it feel? You're like an iconic character now. And he was the stunt double for Chucky. And one of the things he goes, and he goes, yeah, it's cool, but he goes, I don't really like horror movies. And we're like, really? We're like, so you won't even watch your own movies? He's like, no, I'll watch those. He's like, I'll watch those. But what a great guy he was. Yeah. What a great guy. Yeah. You know what? That's what it was. We had so many good interactions with them. It was great because we had such engaging conversations.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that was actually, it was one of the longer ones we had. We had a nice conversation with him. We were talking to him about a good, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 minutes, I think. Because we got into the whole, just about the first the leprechaun thing and Chucky. And then I think, was someone else came by and kind of got into the conversation, so that's why I extended a little bit. But we were talking about that stuff. I think maybe his assistant might have been there and was saying something. But what a great guy.
Denise Crosby, I was excited to meet her from Pet Sematary and Star Trek, and she was super nice too. And she
super classy, just great.
Just great to talk to. She discussed. We were talking about the infamous scene in Pet Sematary where she's having to give Gage the needle or whatever, and she was talking about how we were both talking as parents how scarring that is now, but she was telling us she was not a parent when she filmed that scene, and she wonders how she would have played it differently because obviously it means a lot more now to her.
Yeah,
great little conversation with her. She was really cool.
See, that's what I'm saying, and that was a really brief. We probably were there 5 minutes, but it was such an engaging conversation for that time because we tried to keep it when we knew we weren't buying anything, we didn't really want to take too much time up because anytime we're there and there's some people behind us, most likely they were probably buying something, and we didn't want to stop them from. Making money there,
Then we met Miko Hughes. He was a really friendly guy, nice guy. We got to tell, obviously told him that same scene basically was the one that scarred us.
Yeah, and we did tell Denise Crosby that the aunt traumatized me.
Yeah, Zelda.
That's right. We did tell her that too. But and because she had the picture. Remember?
Yeah, she had a picture of her and Zelda.
Yeah. But and I told Miko Hughes, I'm really glad you're not wearing that little creepy hat outfit because that would have not went over well with me. I would have been a little nervous.
He seemed like a cool guy, and he was there at watching the Ari Lehman perform at the.
Yeah, he was around. He was I think we kept running into him in different spots of the day.
Harvey Stevens, who of course played Damien in the Omen movies, we ran into him in the bar. Really quick interaction. I think him and Lyndon Porco were hanging out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, they were like buddies for a while, and we kind of ran into him. I just kind of went up. I said, "Hey, I didn't get to meet you in the con. Just wanted to introduce myself. We wanted to introduce ourselves. Do a horror podcast." I'm like, thanks for not giving me the squint. And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, we don't do that."
Butch Patrick, I met him at Mad Monster Party. He's just a super down to earth, friendly guy. He had a Creature from the Black Lagoon shirt on, so I was like, "Yeah, Creature's my favorite." Yeah. He was. We talked Universal horror movies for a little while.
Yeah, and he's one of those guests that know what they may be only known for one epic character, but they totally embrace it. Like he runs the Munsters site, I think, or something.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And so and he's just super friendly, and he's always at a lot of cons. He loves it. You could just tell he loves it because he just had a smile on his face the whole time through the convention, and just it's great to see that because it's like because Tim and I were talking at one point, we were like Tim must have said it to each other 100 times. Like this must be grueling for them, because it's not like you could they're sitting down most of the time, but they're not just. It's not like you could just sit there and relax. No, you have to be engaged with people. Are coming up to you.
Interaction. I mean, that's exhausting.
Yeah. And probably repeating the same thing to you at least 30 times a day. Like I'm sure Denise Crosby has heard about that scene 100 times, but
she has to act like that's the first time somebody's told her that scene scarred her.
I mean, and poor Shannon Elizabeth, she must have people not talking to her all day long,
creeping over there in a Civil Gore podcast shirt. Yeah, she probably
wandering around. So,
So, next is a big one because Chris Jericho was there. We obviously want to get to his table to talk about the podcast, but he always had this biggest line in the whole freaking convention. I was like, this is a horror con. Where are all these wrestlers coming from?
Yeah, and he was only there. So we should say he was only there from like 12 to like 5 or 6 on Saturday. Yeah, he wasn't there the full day Saturday. So he was only there Saturday. So he wasn't going to be there Sunday. So it makes sense that he also had a line, but also he's immensely popular. He's a big horror fan himself, and you got to remember he's in the band Fozzy, so he has a lot of he's got 3 types of followers, in there. So it's like, it was no surprise that line was and he's just popular in general. I mean,
Yes, we never really got over there to his table, and so I don't remember where we were at when you saw him. I think it was at the Ari Lehman concert thing, right? Did you see, or was something?
Yes, I think we were. Yeah, it might have been at the Ari Lehman concert, and I saw him walking by with his assistant, his manager. And I saw him, so I went, oh my God, and I went bolting over there. At that point, Tim and I had a couple of beers in us.
Almost got tackled by his security.
Yeah, so now that the nerves of going up to anyone, that's long gone for me, regardless of who it is. So I ran up to him, and his manager's waving me off. No, but Jericho turned, saw I was coming, and he raised it. He's like, hey, high five, and kept going. It was great, he gave me a quick interaction. So little do we know we'd interact with him again later, which was cool. Yeah. But we'll get to that after. So,
next up was Richard Grieco. Another one we didn't get to the table, but we got some interaction with.
Oh, did we ever? Did everyone get interaction with Richard Grieco?
Richard Grieco is a character.
Yeah, and this is another one which we'll tell the part 1, I guess, now, and then when we get into our Saturday night our
thing,
we'll get to the second part.
He was cool.
But basically,
go ahead.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. So basically, Tiffany Shepis and Ming Chen, which we'll get to in our meets with them later, but they were hosting the film awards. So basically, anyone that submitted a film were nominated for could get nominated for these awards. And like we said, that's what we saw Pogo and the whole thing. And so I guess what they were doing is they were actually having some of the other celebrities come up and actually give out awards, which was really a cool thing. Like if you're an indie filmmaker, imagine you getting literally Lyndon Porco's handing you an award.
Yeah.
And Felissa Rose is handing you an award. Tiffany Shepis, Ming Chen. I mean, all these people you probably are so excited to see are giving you your award, So anyway, so Richard Grieco goes up to give away an award, and he gives it away, and then I guess he, goes down off the stage, and then they start talking again, and then he walks back up and kind of grabs the mic again, and we're like, oh, okay. So I think Tiffany Shepis played it off so great. She's like, oh, I guess Richard Grieco wants to say something again. So he goes up and he tells the story of how he wrote and produced and directed this film. And it was I guess it was having its premiere that night, but he said he chose to be there because I guess they would not let him. They needed it by a certain time, and he was not happy with it.
Yeah,
and
they cut
he was really invested
in
it
or something.
Yeah, and they cut 4 minutes off it, and he's like, "No, I want this. I want to still edit this," and they didn't let him finish it, and so he was all bummed, and rightly so. And that was his point when he got up. He's like, guys, so if you you don't, and he's like, F them, if you don't get this, if they don't let you do your film, the way you want, just keep at it and do what, make sure you get it the way you want. And then, so he got back down.
Yeah.
Well, he got back up again.
Yeah.
And this time kind of said a little rehash of what he just said a little bit, kind of like but just saying, guys, live your dreams. If you're out there, an indie filmmaker, do, kind of a thing. But it was hilarious.
It was funny.
Because it was like, like you could just see like the look on, I think, Tiffany and Ming's face. It was just these grins and they were hysterical laughing, and it was just awesome. But then we kind of encountered him right after that. In the hall, he was walking towards us, so we went up to him. We're like, "Hey," and we're just like, "Hey, great job at the film festival." I said, "You got a good point there." If someone, he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "F him."
He was a nice guy. He shook our hands. I mean, he stopped.
Yeah, he's like super nice. He's like you always like, we know Richard Grieco from the '80s. Like, what was it? What was that movie? If Looks Could Kill, and 21 Jump Street. He was in. So we know like the cool Richard Grieco, and that's kind of what we got. It was cool. He's just like. Yeah, but there's more of him coming up.
Yeah, Mick Garris, we already talked about in the panel, panel showing. Ari Lehman, man, this guy is super awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We went up there. I wanted to get my Friday the 13th Blu-ray signed because my idea is I'm probably going to do some kind of shadow box thing where I'm going to have the signed DVD, the picture of me with him, and maybe some other little thing in there. I thought it'd be kind of cool. So I went up there to get that signed, and he's just a super cool guy, and he talked about the filming of the scene. He talked about a movie idea he had.
Yeah. Which we're not going to go into because we don't want him to kill us for giving out his idea, because it was a really awesome idea.
Yeah, and great, fantastic conversation with this guy. And he signed he put I Never Die on my Friday the 13th DVD, which you saw on the Instagram. So I thought that was really cool. And we were saying, like, we're like, of course we did the, Tim's not a big fan of jump scares, and you gave him his first one, and he was like, he's so humble. He's like, yeah, he goes, that wasn't the first one, Carrie, we got the idea. Like, they got the idea from Carrie. I'm like, yeah, but my first
Tim
one,
and I saw this one first. I saw this before I saw Carrie.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, and Tim, this was our first jump scare. And we're like, just like, it was, and then let alone his band, which was freaking awesome.
His band's so cool.
Yeah, they're called First Jason, and I think he's doing this thing called the Lord of the Lake tour, which is what he's doing. And so yeah, it's a great thing. And his Tim and I both are not like huge heavy metal fans, but this was good.
Yeah,
this was good stuff. And his last song was this great. And they actually I missed this. I couldn't see because it was a big crowd, and I'm not exactly the tallest guy, but apparently they actually had the Vengeance Jason show up there and was walking around.
Yeah, and if you go and look at the lyrics to some of the songs, they're all Friday the 13th themed. They're really cool.
Like the last one.
Yeah.
The last one had that ha ha. It was so cool in it. It was like, yeah, he did great. And I saw him later in the bar, and we went up to him, and I'm like, hey Ari, great job with the band. That was awesome. He's like, oh man, thank you so much. Genuinely nice guy. Gratitude. Yeah, and just a great guy. The next batch of guests, all the guests are fantastic, but this next batch of guests, coming in a row, I'd say are like can't miss ones if you see them at the cons.
Yeah. So next up was Tiffany Shepis. Now, she is not one that I was like dying to meet or anything. Like, I've seen her in Hatchet movies and that kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh, I know who she is.
And nothing against her by any means. We just had a list of ones that we know we definitely had to meet, and so and at that point we didn't know what kind of con it would be and how accessible everyone would be. Yeah,
so we're just thinking, okay, we'll go to meet her. That'd be nice to meet her, just like any other of these little tiny interactions. Yeah. And she was one of our favorite guests, I think, when we left the con. She was just super, super cool. She actually talked us into going to the film awards.
Yeah, she's like, you got to come tonight. I'm hosting with Ming, and I usually make fun of him and stuff. And she had a funny little interaction with us too, because I tweeted out, which you probably guys have all seen already. I tweeted out, I said, oh, Ming and Tiffany killed it tonight at the Horror Awards, and she just writes back, #Richard Grieco. which had Tim and I in hysterics all night. And we saw her the next day. We went up because I'm like, you know what? We got to get a picture with her. I'm going to buy the selfie for us because we need a picture with her because just to kind of memorialize the event, the moment. It was too funny. And so I went up to her and I said, she's like, oh, hey guys. And I'm like, you had us cracking up all night. And she started to crack up when we were talking about it. She was like, and then she told us another little funny story with that. And then, so she took a cool pictures, which I forgot to post on Instagram. I thought I had posted it, but I did not because some were on Tim's phone, some were on mine. We were all scrambled all over the place. So I posted it today. And so if you could see that, she gave us some cool poses and stuff. She was just really funny and awesome. It's like, I'm like a big new, like Tiffany Shepard's like super fan now.
Me too, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna like start watching everything she's in now, just because she was that cool.
Next up, another one of my legends. I was so excited to meet Adrienne Barbeau. I got her to sign my the Fog DVD cover. I actually did not get her to sign anything the first time I met her. I think it might have been Friday night. We actually met her the first time. But
right. We just had a nice conversation with her the first night.
Oh my gosh, another just classy, kind, friendly lady. I was very excited to mention the Swamp Thing, which is being filmed here, and ask her if she had been here,
Oh, right,
and she said that she had, and she told me where she had stayed, and she regretted not getting to the beach, but she said she loved the town, and I was telling her how I was born and raised here and stuff. So I had a very nice little pleasant conversation. And one of the funny things is I mentioned her podcast, and I said, yeah, I really enjoyed your podcast. And she looked at me like, you do? Like this kind of like puzzled look on her face, like, what?
Yeah, because I think she didn't think it came out good, and we're like, no, it was awesome.
But she said, well, I kind of said, well, I know it's for women, but I like hearing that perspective on horror and stuff. And I don't think she was talking about that. I think she was she's like, well, after I listened to it, I wish it had come off a little less produced or something like that.
Yeah.
So she wasn't actually like she was super happy with it. But
well, you know why? She must hear Civil Gore and realize how raw and unprofessional that one sounds and got jealous.
But you know what was funny though is I had been talking to Brian about the podcast, which is called She Kills. I said, Adrienne Barbeau is just fantastic on this podcast because you could tell she has that radio voice and her professional demeanor. And I was talking as a positive about how great it sounded compared to like our podcast. Yeah, and she thought that was a negative, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, another one just exudes class and just like still looks like just so attractive and nice and kind and just she's the best.
Yeah, when I showed my picture to my coworkers when I got back to the office, I was like, hey, this is Adrienne Barbeau, and they were like, whoa, like they were just impressed with how awesome she still looks today. I mean, she's just great.
Yeah, she's awesome. Another one of like, and she's like, I consider her up in that legendary status of where, it's just like, it's just down to earth, sweet woman. It's great.
And I wish I had known. I really wish I had known she was going to be in the new Creep Show. I didn't realize that at the time.
I know. That got announced today. Yeah, like we'll. Hopefully we'll see her another con, and I'm sure she'll remember us. We made an impression.
Yeah. So next up, and this was one of the surprises of the con for me. Excuse me, Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. Now, I am not a Comic Book Men aficionado. I have seen maybe a handful of episodes, so I didn't really know who Ming was. Brian knew him very well, so it was kind of a weird dynamic.
No, I'm a big Comic Book Man fan.
So that was kind of weird because I'm coming at him kind of not knowing who he is. Brian's coming at him as kind of a super fan. So, man, I became a super fan after this convention. This guy was awesome. I'll let you talk a little bit about him, Brian.
Yeah, no, and he's a big fan of like if you start watching the old episodes of Comic Book Man, you'll see all the stuff he's like a fan of. It's all the stuff we're a fan of. And he's just a cool, relaxed, like nice, humble guy. Like it was funny, we were joking with him. I'm like, hey, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's so great to meet you. He's like, it's, a big fan of comic book. He's like, man, we're just fellow podcasters. Cause he runs the Shared Universe podcast thing. He does that. And he has his own couple of different podcasts. And of course he was on the Comic Book Men podcast and Kevin Smith. So it's like, big podcaster. And he was going to be podcasting all weekend, which led to probably what Tim said, the biggest surprise. So we're just talking with him. At first he saw our shirts. He goes, "Oh, I love the shirt, Civil Gore. That's awesome." He goes, "Hey guys, why don't you stop by tomorrow? We'll do a podcast." And we didn't, at that point, we weren't sure what he meant. Like, we didn't know if he would be sitting there podcasting, he'd call us on and say, "Hey, this is Civil Gore." No, he legit, we went up to him the next day and we saw him. He's like, "Oh, you guys ready?" And we're like, "I think so." And he just whips out 3 microphones, this really cool recorder, and he sets it up. And we did like a full episode of his show, like interviewing us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "This is like, we're literally in the middle of this con. People walking by, they're like, who are those guys with that shirt?" but it was just a great thing. And he was such a cool guy. And he was great. It was so natural in the interview. And and he was willing to let us use his equipment and like record something else if we wanted, like a full on Civil Gore episode.
I think we were kind of stunned.
Which now I'm like regretting it. I think now I'm regretting it. That would have been fun. But you know what? We had so much to do, and I didn't want to like, I don't know. I felt bad because he was so kind about stuff. So we'll let you guys know, of course, when that airs.
Yeah.
Because what a professional guy. Just one of those guys that, like, you know, he gets it. He gets it that there are people out there that just love talking and love about stuff and doing podcasts, and he's willing to help you. And he's willing to, like, no competition, nothing. Just like great guy, wants to, like, you know, hang out and help some fellow podcasters.
I think we handled ourselves quite well in that interview, by the way.
Yeah,
to be put on the spot, I think we did pretty darn good.
Yeah. I made sure Tim was couldn't see Shannon Elizabeth from where he was standing. I blocked her. Yeah, I turned him the right way, so I didn't know. But
great.
Yeah, and I think the poop. That's when we first encountered the poop guy. I think he could walk by during our recording of that,
as if we needed any more distraction.
Right. Yeah. But thanks again to Ming. We saw him a couple times throughout the show. Just a really, really awesome guy.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and watch Comic Book Man now. I have to.
You got to watch them all. You got to watch all of them.
The next one up, obviously another one I was so excited to meet was Joe Bob Briggs. And we didn't know Darcy was going to be there, but she was.
Yeah, that was really cool because it was a little bonus.
Yeah.
You know?
So the first night, I think this was Friday night, we went up to him because he didn't really have anybody at his table. And went up there and introduced ourselves. And man, I was so happy. I told Brian before, I think we even mentioned in our preview, I said, I hope Joe Bob's not like some asshole. And my legend is shattered. And you know, I got to go back to, you know, thinking of my fond Monster Vision memories in a different light because this guy was a dick to me or something. Nothing could be further from the truth. He's super cool guy.
What a cool guy.
Yeah, we got up there and he was, you know, we told him about the podcast. And he was kind of referencing the North and South thing, and we got to talking about the Wilmington film industry because, you know, we used to have a big burgeoning film industry here, which kind of got destroyed by our stupid governor. Sorry, sorry for letting my politics get in the way, but he really did gut the film industry here, and our new governor's trying to slowly bring it back. And Swamp Thing is one of the big things that's helping to bring it back. And he actually did. He was genuinely a conversation. He was asking me about Wilmington film industry, how it was doing. We talked about some of the movies that were being filmed here, or that had been filmed here in the past.
Yeah, we told him about the Maximum Overdrive connection.
Yeah, told him about the Maximum Overdrive connection, which was kind of cool. And I actually told him about Swamp Thing. He wasn't even aware of it, I don't think. He didn't even know that it was coming out. So
by the way, if you guys see that on his Shudder show, he references that. You know where he got it from. You got it from Tim.
So I taught Joe Bob something. How about that, guys?
Yeah.
The guy that teaches me everything.
Oh my God, he's one of those like larger than life guys, dude. It's just like
he's super
like,
tall.
So,
oh my God, he's super tall.
Yeah, he was really tall. He made Tim look shorter in the picture, which
really
was
did.
I didn't think was easy.
Now
to do.
I will say this: after I watched some of the Joe Bob when I got back and watched Joe Bob drive in, he's not as exuberant. Like he's not as I'm trying to, because I'm not meaning it as any kind of detriment to him at all. But his personality on Monster Vision, he's kind of like really out there and talking nonstop kind of thing. I think in real life he's a little more reserved.
Yeah.
But still just a super nice guy and a wealth of knowledge and everything.
Oh yeah, and he had a great panel too. That was a
fantastic,
really good panel
yeah.
he did. Yeah, he went through the whole history of like, how the original show started and how like he didn't think that anyone wanted all those Monster Vision ones on DVD, and everyone's like, we're like, yeah, we do. Like all of us wanted it.
I'll just watch them without watching the movie. I don't care.
I just want to. Well, that's what he was saying. Yeah, there was the interstitials he called it. That right? He's like, it's just he has them all in his, I guess, his storage or something, and then. Yeah, no, he's just a cool guy. We saw him like a couple of times throughout the thing, and then we got that picture with him on the last day. We decided we wanted to say goodbye to him, and they were all like just so cool. And Darcy was awesome, stunning in person, as you would imagine, and just super cool. She was actually a little more shy, actually.
She's very,
in person.
Yeah, she really is kind of shy.
Yeah, I mean, but she's so sweet. Like in the end, it was great to meet her, and also, so it was like just a great bonus. What a fun thing, and like. Yeah, I mean, if you like, the thing is, some of these things, like, I mean, we were already big fans of him, but I think it's like now it accelerated my fandom. For
like my Joe Bob it went way above and beyond what I had hoped. I had hoped maybe to go up and say hi. I really enjoyed Monster Vision. Nice meeting you, sir, and walk away, and I'd have been thrilled probably. But to get an actual conversation with him about my hometown's film industry and tell him a few things he didn't know, and he tells me a few things I didn't know. That kind of stuff, that is just priceless.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, no, it really was. That was like one, and that was like what, like, and it was almost dangerous to have that like on the first night, because like, all right, how's the rest of the con gonna live up? We just had the conversation, but we still had plenty more.
Oh yeah,
so
the next guy I think was lived up to expectations and exceeded.
Oh yeah,
them.
and this was like my version. Like Tim's big thing was to meet Joe Bob, and I think this was mine. Was of course to meet. Obviously, if you've followed this show, you know that the Crypt Keeper has been a major part of it. And my impersonation of him did not start on this our own show. It started on our good buddy Mike and EB's Coaster Radio. It's gone on to also our good buddy Adam and Andrews, their Theme Park Families podcast. And so, and of course, many times on Civil Gore by either performing stand-up comedy.
We didn't tell him you actually did Crypt Keeper songs. We probably should have.
Oh, right. That's you know what? Well, we'll reach out to him, and we'll let him know when this episode drops, and I have to tell him that. He'll probably we made it to the point of where we're probably kind of memorable.
Yeah.
I think he'll do that because well, you could tell this story since you got me. You basically got me to do this.
Yeah. So. If Brian was the Shannon Elizabeth icebreaker, I had to be the John Kassir icebreaker because I told Brian didn't want to do the voice for him because I gotta have a couple beers in me before I do that. I said, no, you know what? It's my duty as Brian's co-host to put him on the spot and force him to do the Crypt Keeper impression in front of John Kassir. So I went up there and I introduced myself and I said, this guy does a great Crypt Keeper impression. Oh, God. And which, of course, he said, all right, let's hear it.
Yeah.
And after some cajoling and encouragement, we got Brian to do a very brief Crypt Keeper impersonation.
Yeah, it was brief.
But the best line of the entire con probably was John Kassir says, well, my job is safe.
Yeah.
I about fell on the floor. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was great. But in all seriousness aside, after that though, we talked to him the next day too. And he told us some great stories about other people coming up and doing the voice for him. And he actually told me the next day, he goes, no, actually, I liked what you did with it. He goes, you kind of made it your own kind of a thing. You did this whole thing. And he's like, you got really high with the laugh. And he's like, I don't know if I could do that anymore. He goes, I don't know. I probably could, And we were just joking with him. And so I had to get a picture with him, of course, the next day, which you saw, I'm sure, on Instagram. And what a great guy. This guy is this we're trying to tell him, I'm like, you're the Crypt Keeper. He's like, yeah, but he almost was so humble about it, but he was, oh god, what a great guy. He was lived up to everything I hoped, and the fact that he basically said, he's like, because I said, I got to get a picture of you since I'm not stealing your job now, and he's like, and he started laughing, and he was like. So what did he say again? He goes, I don't mind you using it. Just don't make money off of it.
Yeah. No, I said,
he's like, just kidding.
I said, don't sue us. I said, no, you gave him, him our card. And I said,
right.
So in case you want to hear some of the Crypt Keeper stuff, I said, just don't sue us. And he laughed and he said, as long as you're not making money out of it. And me and Brian both replied, well, you don't get into podcasting to make money. And he was laughing.
Yeah. But he basically gave me the endorsement. He said I could do it. So like, I mean, how awesome is that? I literally got endorsed by John Kassir himself, the Crypt Keeper, to be able to do the Crypt Keeper voice. As bad as
we're not getting sued. Yay!
Yes. What a cool guy he was. He had this awesome Crypt Keeper jersey, I guess, that was a real team. We thought it was custom for him, but it was an actual team somewhere. He said some real hockey team.
That sounded cool.
And of course, he hosted the karaoke later on that night, where a bunch of where he did, there was some classic Crypt Keeper puns in there. I saw some on video, that the ones we missed because we didn't get there for the beginning of it, because we were watching first Jason, and then we went and grabbed something to eat in the middle, and then grabbed a beer at the good beer place. So it came back. So we missed a little of it. But we managed to get a taste of everything that night, which was pretty cool. But yeah, John Kassir is just someone you must stop at when you go, if he's at a con, because he's just great, and he had some good stories also, and just what an awesome guy. And he does like the bonus of he'll record a voicemail for you.
That was
in the
cool.
Crypt Keeper voice. And what did we say? Like, he said he didn't want to do it, and I said, well, if you get tired of it, I'll just jump in for you. And he says, okay, good deal.
Yeah, we were talking about. You said he should do a podcast, and he said, yeah, but if I can't monetize it, I don't want to do it. And he said, well, if you get tired of it, I'll jump in.
That's right. That's right. And he got a laugh out of that. Yeah, I mean, he was just what a great guy.
Yeah. Next up was Damien Leone, which we actually ended up running into quite a bit. We talked to him at his table, and ended up talking to him in the bar. But man, super nice, just a really kind, down to earth guy. I mean, genuinely nice.
Oh my God, right? Yeah.
And I didn't know what to.
You wouldn't think like. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect because I don't know him. He could be like this stuck up, arrogant director, or don't want to talk to anybody, or he could be like the nicest guy on earth, and he turned out to be the nicest guy on earth, so that was great.
Oh yeah, no, and because he was like, just like, you could tell he was one of those directors, loved film just in general, and he was a special effects guy, and he does all the effects himself, and he was so humble about it. Like, he literally was like, you could see it when we were telling him how much we're like, it was Terrifier was so amazing, and it's like, it's this iconic status, and I literally and I told him something, and this is the dead honest truth. I tell everybody because obviously when they know we do a horror podcast, they're going to go, oh, what movie? What's a good movie? Yeah. See, they have that voice too, I guess, apparently. But
what's a good movie, Brian? Do a horror podcast.
Hey, Brian,
what's a good scary movie?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how we got this voice into the show, but we'll promise it'll never come back. But
I won't promise that.
Yeah, that's true. We can't promise that. But but I tell them, I said, in all honesty, if you really want to see that, because. Yeah, and I say Terrifier. I say, and I told him, I said, this is like, we have the opportunity to see another iconic franchise in the making right now in front of us. Like, for those that are a little, that are younger, they didn't grow up with seeing, like, I remember when Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one came out, I saw how Freddy Krueger started and became the icon status he is. Same with Friday the 13th and Jason. And a little lesser scale because I was a little young. I mean, still, but I saw it with Michael Myers. But now you're getting a new iconic villain, and and the Terrifier is just on everyone's top lists, and it's so popular. And we were, I was just like, and he was so humble about it, like as if he made nothing, And I was like,
I mean, do you want to tell the whole story about? We actually ended up somehow Brian canoodled his way. Into a table with Damien Leone, David Howard Thornton, and Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Well, so I channeled my mother's secret talent of inserting herself into any conversation. Mostly she uses it for people in the grocery stores and or restaurants and whatnot. I decided, we might as well go to this part. So we'll get to the other funny part of it later. But so we ended up at the karaoke, and we're watching people do some stuff. And so I went back. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, hopefully there's a bathroom in here, because I don't want to walk all the way to the other bathroom in this section of the hotel, which is way back there. And I'm like, we just got into this thing. I don't want to go back there. So went to the back, and while I'm waiting, there's a line for the bathroom. I kind of hear a crowd onto the other side of me. And I'm like, now in the other room, granted, there was Richard Grieco was in there, Ming, Tiffany Shepis, David Howard Thornton was at another table at this point with, and then I guess Lyndon Portko was in there. The Harry
Lloyd Kaufman is in there eating pizza.
Lloyd Kaufman eating pizza, which we almost food blocked him again. Another person. Harvey Stevens was there. You know, so all these, so there was a group there. But when I walk back, I walk back in there and I hear the voices and I go to the back. I'm like, what is this? And I noticed it was another bar back there. Almost like a little, like it seemed like I didn't even know this part was here. So I walk back there and first I look up and I see that there's better taps and better beers there. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then I glance over and I see Jericho standing at the bar. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wait a minute. And I look, and next to him is Felissa Rose and Amelia Kincaid and Damien Leone and they're all hanging out in the back there. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm texting Tim. Now, meanwhile, Tim is wondering where the heck I am, because at that point, Richard Grieco decided to go up and do an a cappella karaoke or something.
It was like spoken word karaoke. I don't know what he was doing.
Spoken word karaoke. And if you think that's the end of that part of the story, no, there's still more we'll get to. So I finally at this point, I'm like, all right, that's it. I don't know where Tim is. I got to run out. And I run him. I'm like, Tim, you got to come back here. Everyone's back there. So in the meanwhile, before I went and got Tim, I did say, I went up to Chris Jericho and I said, hey, I didn't get to meet you earlier. Really, I just wanted to say, hey, I love the podcast. And he's like, oh, thank you. And then I turned and I saw Felissa Rose. She was heading over to the other side, and I said, hey, Felissa, because we'll get to her in a minute. And I said, oh, it was great meeting you earlier. Hey, it was, and she's like, oh, thank you so much. And then she walked over the thing, and then Damien Leone was at the table, and so then I ran and got Tim, and we came back. By that point, Chris Jericho was walking over to this table, and it was him and his manager that shooed me off before, who turned out to be a really great guy, because we were talking to him in the middle of the conversation. Some other guy, and so then it was Chris Jericho and Damien Leone were at the table. So I pulled Tim. Tim got back there, and I went to Chris Jericho. And this is kind of funny. I'm like, hey, Chris, just want to introduce you to my co-host on the podcast. And so I'm like, and he goes, oh, it's Civil Gore again. He's like, what's up? And then he's like, and then some other guy was just standing there, and he goes, are you part of Civil Gore too? And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, Civil Gore's got a groupie. We're like,
that's very funny.
We're like, yeah, it was great. And so we were talking to him a little bit for there, and then we got in there, and then eventually, then David Howard Thornton made his way in, and he had the funniest line. He just walks in, he goes, dude, Richard Grieco was just sitting on the floor in there holding court, the karaoke thing. And we're like, oh my God. And it just gets better and better. I always thought Richard Grieco was cool, but he's like at another level of awesomeness right now. It was just great. But so somehow, like, this is like, for Tim and I, this was kind of like a dream scenario. We literally ended up getting into a conversation talking about movies, The Thing in particular, and how good practical effects were with Chris Jericho, David Howard Thornton, and Damien Leone.
It was phenomenal.
Oh my God. I was just like, I'm like, Tim, this is what we wanted. This is awesome. And Damien Leone couldn't have been more like, even if he was bothered by us, I'll never know, but you never would have told, because he was so cool and he was literally engaging with us in conversation, and we were just talking about stuff. And we may or may not have secured a role on Terrifier 2. We're not sure yet.
I think we've secured an extra role. I think that's what we've
Yes,
secured.
I think we got, he did say there might have some big scenes with some crowd. There he goes, maybe we'll fit in there. I mean, I who knows what'll actually happen, but what just an awesome experience. I mean, that was cool. And it was so cool because right next to us is that little table with like Felissa Rose and it
was cool being in it. Yeah,
Kincaid.
it was cool being in the same room with a bunch of horror royalty, just talking and having drinks. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. And then we we missed it, but we saw it on thank God, the magic of the internet. Someone recorded the epic David Howard Thornton "Let It Be" song where he did all the Warner Brothers characters, and he called it "Let It WB." If you have not seen this yet, I never like to say this, but we will give you permission. Pause the podcast, watch this immediately.
Amazing.
It is epic, and like I said, I tweeted it out, and I said, if you ever doubted the awesomeness of David Howard Thornton, then watch this, and you will not have any doubts because, it was just good. And I guess that's a perfect segue into to David Howard Thornton. And I'll let you take this right off the bat since I had met him previously, and this was your first true meeting of him.
Oh yeah, he's a super nice guy, very very nice guy, and very down to earth. And it was fantastic to be able to finally meet him after having him on the show, and hearing Brian talk about how cool he was. That was a lot of fun.
And it was funny. We gave him the shirt.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, we gave him a shirt, which he seemed very appreciative of.
What did he say? Triplets. We're triplets because it was like I told him, I said there are I said, this is for you. I said thank you for coming on the show, and I said, and this is hot off the presses. There are 3 in existence, and I pointed to the ones Tim and I were wearing, and the one in his hand, and he goes, "Wow, triplets."
But super cool guy.
He's an awesome guy. Oh yeah, and that was funny too because that was the thing we forgot about with Ari Lehman. So when we were talking to Ari Lehman, David's booth was about 3 or 4 down, I think, and. So we were talking to him, and he turned and he goes, "Hey guys, is that the guy from Terrifier?" We're like, "Oh, David Howard Thornton, yeah." And we actually had him on our show, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I gotta meet him." and then that was just such a surreal moment because we're like, "Wow, this is a one horror icon wanting to meet the other horror icon," and we kind of facilitated it somehow. We were in the middle.
It's funny,
of it.
Those celebrities are fans of other celebrities. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and that was what's great about this con that I noticed actually, because you saw them taking pictures with other. And just having the best time, and they were like a reunion for them. Yeah. And it was cool when we told David Howard Thornton that. He was like, "What? That's no way." He didn't believe it either that we were saying that. So, yeah. So I know we've gushed about David Howard Thornton tons of times because he really is just one of the most genuinely awesome people you could ever possibly meet. And he's at a lot of cons, and he is definitely the must stop at these cons. And in saying that, this is the perfect segue. As the term last but not least, this is definitely applies in this case and prepare for extra gushing.
Oh my gosh, yes. So Felissa Rose, of course, I was excited to meet her. I missed her at one of the other conventions. So she had tweeted out, I think we had tweeted, this is our first New Jersey Horror Con, and she said, "I want big hugs." That's what she tweeted. Yeah. So we were laughing about that, and we were like, we were kind of joking on the way over there. Like, I wonder if Felissa Rose will remember us and give us big hugs. I mean, not really expecting that. We just thought that's just something she does on Twitter. Let me tell you, I didn't even get up to her table yet. I was still a few feet away. She saw my shirt, me and Brian's shirt, and she said, "There's my Civil Gore." And she got up and gave us both just big hugs. We got our big hugs.
Yeah, I think at that point I was like, "This is this real? Is this actually happening?"
She remembered us from Twitter, and she recognized the shirts, and we had the most fun conversation. I got to tell her about how I had only seen Sleepaway Camp recently, and somehow had managed to avoid the spoiler ending for 30 some odd years.
Yeah,
which her volunteer seemed awestruck about, and we talked about that ending. You know what? And I'm sure she's heard it 5 million times. That ending. Yeah. Hey, here's a chance to do the voice.
The voice again.
Hey, Felissa Rose, that ending of Sleepaway Camp was really dark disturbing. I'm sure she's heard that 50 billion times, but you would have thought it was the first time she'd ever heard it.
Yeah. And literally, if that whole moment of where she recognized us, and remembered what she said and gave us a big hug, if that doesn't sum up the kind of person that she is, nothing does, because she is unbelievably amazing with the fans. Yes. She is, just a larger than life personality. It's amazing, and she is, she's just so warm and welcoming and great. Her panel was one. I told her that, and she was almost so taken aback by it. But I'm like, it was the truth. It was one of the best panels I've ever seen at a con, because she was so into it and animated and telling us all kind of stories and just stuff. And oh my God, she's I don't think we could ever say truly express how awesome she was.
She was. It was the. There's a lot of highlights to the show, but she was definitely maybe the highlight of the show for me. Just her whole personality and everything was just fantastic. Like, it really made the whole show would have been awesome regardless.
Yeah.
We had so much fun, but that was just like the cherry on top. I mean, just her getting to meet her and her exuberance and her appreciation of the fans and everything.
And it's so genuine.
It's so genuine. Yeah, she's not putting on a show. Like, she's totally 100% like, I loved Felissa Rose. Like, I was a fan before. I'm like a super fan now. She's awesome.
There's not enough supers to say in it. Yeah, and we our total was a total of 3 hugs apiece.
Yeah.
So that's how good she is. And she's just like the warmest like person. Oh God, it's like I'm almost like I kind of like miss her interactions because it was so they were so.
I just want to like hang out at my house
or
something, just be around.
Yeah, like she, when we said goodbye to her, she was like, "Oh my guys, come here," and gave us a big hug goodbye, and just it was great. And we did tell her we told her because she was telling us about her which actually got a lot of tweets today about it. Her Indiegogo project. She's called Angela, and it's like supposedly the ultimate sleepaway camp documentary that's like been years in the making. And so she's been talking about that. So I told her, I said, well, you basically have an open invitation to come on this show and promote it. And she was like, oh, thank you. That'd be great. I mean, well, hopefully we can somehow work that out actually, but totally understandable if not. She's very busy. She's at like every con you go to, but yeah. So, I mean, I know we said this multiple times, but seriously, if she is at the con, you will be missing the best thing ever if you do not go stop by her table. You have to stop by because
she's awesome.
She will welcome you with open arms and
literally
you'll have the best time.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
I will have to say, so just kind of a wrap up of the entire show, it was just, I think I don't have a lot of cons to compare it to. Brian has more than I do, but just from the experience from the time we got there to the time we left, I can't say enough good things about the volunteers. They were all nice. They were all friendly. They all really helped their guests. Their guest celebrities, because they had like a volunteer at every table that really helped smooth the process of going up and asking for an autograph or whatever. Like I said, the crowd control was amazing. It never felt crowded. The whole convention, and I think some of the celebrities even mentioned this too. I think we had mentioned it a couple times. Everything just seemed so laid back. There was no stress.
Yeah.
It was just fun. There was no stress of the crowds. All the celebrities were laid back. Everybody was friendly. Everybody was having a good time. I mean, even at the after party stuff, with like the stuff at the karaoke at the bars, if everybody was just having a big party, it just felt so much fun. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't even mention, like one of the cool things one of the guys that I guess was the film. Help pick the films. I mean, he was doing that "We're Not Gonna Take It" heap thing, and like the whole bar and everyone is like just singing along with them, and the thing is like there was no like at that point it was like everyone was just a horror fan there together, celebrities and guests alike. It was just there was such a warm like feeling amongst like there was no any kind of like pretension or anything. It was just awesome.
Yeah, I think the reason why is, and this is just going by gut feeling, I think this convention is at the perfect sweet spot where it's not too big yet, it's not too small, but it's just at that right sweet spot. It's in that Goldilocks zone where it's just big enough to attract some really good celebrities, but not quite big enough to attract the big, big, big crowds that make it miserable. And then you combine that with an awesome venue, awesome volunteers, very well run, very well organized, and you just have your recipe for just a fantastic weekend. I would go back in a heartbeat. Yeah,
we were already talking about how trying to do next year, maybe even getting a table at it, trying to really do it up. And it's just, and I think it offers so much. Because, I mean, the fact that it has some great panels and the film festival going on, it helps spread the crowds and helps appeal to a lot of different people you'll meet. Like, we were talking to a lot of the filmmakers. Like, I felt so bad. We were running into these filmmakers and we couldn't see all their films. But, I mean, I still have them all listed, so we can still look it up, which is good, and try and catch them when they're released or online and stuff. But it was like, you get to talk to filmmakers, just amazing creators, let alone the celebrity. Just so many people we were talking to. Like, I mean, it was like I felt like it was like the sadness when like the next day with like when I wasn't like getting up to go to a con and I was going into work.
I was very bummed. So yeah,
I mean, I was tired, but still, it was like. But when we were there, I was not tired. It was funny. I was just like
running on pure adrenaline.
I was like,
at that point, yeah.
Oh yeah, pure adrenaline. Oh, and a special shout out to that wonderful lady that made our breakfast on Sunday morning with love at the Cereal Town.
Oh my God! I'm giving that lady a special shout out. So we went to Cereal Town.
Yeah.
There was like nobody in there, and we wanted to do the adult thing because we're eating healthy all week, which was the Greek yogurt and granola type thing. Well, they didn't have any Greek yogurt, and this sweet, lovely lady goes.
God knows.
I don't know where she went. She went and procured some Greek yogurt, and then she proceeded to make us two of the biggest damn granola yogurt bowls I've ever seen in my life. And she, like I told her, I said you made these bowls with love. And she laughed, and
you could that like made her day.
It really
I
made
think.
her day.
Like
I think she really like she put so much care in those bowls.
It did, and we like almost didn't. I couldn't finish it. It was so big. I was like worried. I'm like, this is not going to fill me up for the rest of the day, but it did because it was pretty filling.
Shout
and
out
it was
to her.
like
She was awesome.
Yeah. So there's a bonus there, and just actually, and I think that the setting of it is kind of cool. Just being in Atlantic City on the boardwalk. I mean, literally, the rooms in the showboat look out onto the ocean.
Yeah.
And we were, of course, right by, where the showboat is. It's right next to the steel pier. So Tim and I got to look out, and they had even though the park was closed, the rides were lit up at night. So that was kind of a nice view.
Yeah, it was just. I can't. There's nothing I can complain about on that trip. Literally nothing I can complain about. It was just a blast.
I mean, I definitely think it's something we need to I know it happens twice. It does happen in October, but of course October this year is with Tim's brother's wedding is literally taking place the same weekend of it. So that's out for October, but it's good because probably every year would be good anyway. Because they get expensive, and there's a lot of other interests we have, and and so. But I definitely think it's a yearly thing. And we were talking actually before we started to record. We were thinking, maybe we'll try to, if we do the table, we'll get the wives to come along too and get to experience the fun that we had.
Yeah, and if gambling's your thing, of course you got plenty of casinos and stuff around. So yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, definitely. So we can't recommend the New Jersey HorrorCon enough. And and just I mean, I don't know who's listening to this that were there at the con, but if we forgot to mention you, we apologize. It's just there was a lot going on, and of course, if we thank you for just being so awesome between the vendors, the celebrities, the volunteers, like Tim said, just everyone was awesome.
Yeah, guys. So I guess we'll wrap it up here because we're over the 2-hour mark. So you're what?
Longest mini-sode ever.
I guess you're welcome, Cody. And we'll see you guys next week. Now, next week we will resume our normal countdown to 100. So look forward to that. I can't wait. All right, we'll see you guys, and don't food block any celebrities.
Oh, yep. See you later.